thePLAINESTjane. This is one of my favorite comments here. She says, I loves me some black, and she said loves me some black news. She says, is it just me, or does anyone else get tired of seeing people that don't look like them delivering info about them day in and day out?
I'm your girl, thePLAINESTjane, and let's see what's happening in these virtual streets. You ready? All right now. This could be a crazy ride. I'm warning you now. What up and welcome back. I'm Jane, thePLAINESTjane, and I provide serve in the form of black news and celebrity entertainment. Come on in, have a seat, get comfortable. We are continuing our coverage on the debacle between Fox Soul, Funky Dineva, TGIF, and quite frankly, Al Reynolds as well, because I do feel that he needs to issue an apology as well. The entitlement, the intrusiveness, the nature in which they spoke on Haley's body, it was kind of cringy. It wasn't kind of cringy. It was beyond cringy, misogynistic. A lot of people have it quite misconstrued in thinking that y'all are this upset over Chloe. It wasn't just about Chloe. It wasn't just about Funky calling Chloe ugly and spitting that vitriol at her. It was really about how, first of all, Al started out with one sentiment. Then when he heard Funky's sentiment, he flip-flopped over to the side of just being rude and misogynistic and entitled to a young woman's body, and basically saying, I know you're pregnant. Tell me you're pregnant. I don't lie to me. Like, that's crazy. I need to know that you're pregnant right now. And if you don't tell me that you're pregnant, stay your ass in the house for 9 months. Bizarre, right? Bizarre. But everybody come on in and have a seat. Al was thoroughly tickled. Yes, he was thoroughly tickled by it. And that is quite telling, especially because these are, again, we're living in a day and age where men feel like they have so much agency over a woman's body. Like, why is that? These men in particular aren't even into women. Not to mention Al acting like you need to tell people stuff, don't withhold information from the public. And we all know what his come up was. Star Jones, as if he hasn't always been interested in what he's interested in, what he's openly interested in now. It's the hypocrisy for me. Like, I'm not picking on a certain community, but I'm pointing out misogyny in all different forms, because it seems that a lot of women are missing. They're missing the point. They're missing the bigger picture. And I'm going to make some points today. That's what we're going to talk about. So let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for coming in on the bus. Pay your fare. If you don't know, when you're on my channel and you're watching my videos, you're on the bus. You're either on the bus live in real time, or you're chasing the bus if you're watching the replay. So pay your fare. It's completely free to ride this bus. All you got to do is hit the thumbs up button. And I truly do appreciate your support, and also sharing the video and subscribing. So Fox Soul, ooh, look at that foot. Fox Soul went ahead and they removed the videos. I wonder why. I wonder why. So I want to take you over to their channel just so that you can see for yourself that it has, it's been removed. So we come over here, we go to videos, and we scroll down, and we see some clips, but we do not see the Halle episode, and we do not see the shortened version of the Halle episode. Okay, so the episode is completely gone now. So let me explain to you, if you're not already familiar with how Fox Soul works when they do things. And thank y'all for being here. I know it's late. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. It's the weekend. My sleep schedule is already messed up. So I figured, whatever. I'm wide awake right now. So Fox Soul, they do a variety of different topics in one show pertaining to TGIF. They talk about all of their different topics, and then they split those individual topics up and upload them as separate videos as well. So you can either sit and watch the full 51-minute episode, or you can watch the 6, 7, 8, however long snippet, however long they talked about said subject. So they removed 2 videos off of their platform, both of them being the longer episode when he was talking about Chloe with those ridiculous, nasty remarks, and also the shortened version of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you really quickly what the thumbnail of the shortened video looks like. Let's take a look at this. Okay, come on, let's get to it. Here we go. Get out the microscopes, it says. And is Halle Bailey pregnant? Okay. And then they've deleted the entire episode of the other one. So I don't know what the real purpose. They've also changed the title of the video where Funky gave that sorry ass apology. He gave the apology in the so you see they still have snippets. Let's go back over here. They still have snippets. You see, this is the shirt that he had on the day, this black button up with the white specks on it. This is the shirt he had on that day. So they still got some of the short clips up there, but the full one is gone. All right. And so let me see. The day he apologized was, what was it? It was this day. All right. And so they led this title. Let me zoom in just so you can see. They led this title here with Funky's apology. They've since changed the title and also deleted all traces of the nasty remarks that led to his apology in the first place. However, it's already out here. There have been everybody done screen recorded it now. Everybody's screen recorded it by now. Everybody's had conversations about it by now. And one thing that we do know about human curiosity in general is when you take something away and you're trying to hide something from people, it makes people more curious and more eager to want to find it. So they can do whatever they want to do. Maybe they got tired of the comments lighting them up. Whatever the case is, if y'all remember the Pink Sauce Girl, and I've been covering the Pink Sauce Girl extensively. I uploaded 3 videos on the Pink Sauce Girl this week alone. It's a rabbit hole for sure. She went on, what's the guy's name? The Caramo. I forget how you say his name because I don't watch his show. But I remember she went on there and she told the customer, "You're not special." And it was so cringy from Pink Sauce Girl and the host of the show that they took it down. Well, people had already screen recorded it and they uploaded their versions, and everybody else is monetizing off of said video. And he decided, you know what, everybody else is monetizing off the video. There's no hiding it. So he re-uploaded it, although it was cringy. And he even issued an apology for the way that he came down on the customer. That's a rabbit hole in and of itself if you don't know what that is. Okay. But let's keep going, right? I really did want to give y'all this information. I find it to be interesting. They do not, Foxhole typically does not, or at least TGIF, they typically do not, what is it? Karamo? Oh, that's how you say it. Karamo? Child. They typically don't take stuff down, right? I really have only seen them take things down 2 times over on Foxhole, and this would be the 2nd time. All right. And so I found that to be really interesting, and it made me and my homegirls happy. It was pleasing me and my homegirls, because if you can't go to Bella Noche's, where the hell could you go? So it was pleasing me and my homegirls to see that something had been done, that they're feeling some sort of effect. They're either tired of the negative feedback, they're tired of the backlash, they're tired of the comment, they're tired of being associated with, and especially because there are so many people speaking out on the YouTube streets and in general about how ill and how vile Funky's sentiments were. And I'm talking, of course, women, we've been talking about the misogyny coming from men in general, but especially men within the misogynistic men within the LGBT community. Is that all of them? No, it's not all of them. So it's not all of them, but there is some misogyny coming from inside of the LGBT community. It doesn't matter how feminine you are or whatever the case is. And a lot of times we're gaslit and told you're imagining things. There's no disrespect. Now you literally have Kempire and King of Reeds, and what's the other guy's name? I want to make sure I name all the people. Make it make sense. These are all people who are a part of the LGBT community, and men at that, who have spoken out about just how ill and how ridiculous these sentiments were, because it came out of nowhere. And again, it's not just what he said about and to Chloe, it's also how they approached being entitled to knowing what's going on with Halle's alleged or rumored pregnancy. And then they're like, well, if we don't get the answers, then stay your ass in the house. Who are you, right? So that's that. I think that some of what we're doing is working. I was able to see today that Funky Dineva has about 475,000 subscribers. So far, he's only lost 2,000 subscribers, right? He lost 1,000 subscribers yesterday. He lost 1,000 subscribers today. And I do think that this is progress for women in general when it comes to misogyny, and addressing it and speaking up and speaking out about it, no matter how often or how many times men from whatever community, whatever their sexual orientation is or how they identify, speaking up and speaking out about it and not shutting up, regardless of how much they tell us that it's not happening, right? So I do think that this is a win for us as Black women. I do. Okay. It's small, but it's something. Okay. So that is that. So I'm just happy that the information is coming from lots of different places. And I want to get into talking about Layla Lynn a bit later in the video. But let me just dive straight into my talking points. So y'all feeling all right? Is everybody doing good? We got 100 likes on the video. We got 250 people here. What's going on? Before we get started, make sure y'all hit thumbs up, pay your fare. You don't have to send anything to the Cash App. It's appreciated, not required. But if you do, it's $THA, not ETHA. Make sure you proofread if you do send something. If not, it's cool. Just hit thumbs up. But I do have some points that I want to make, in particular because and it's important. It's important that we realize the power that we have. There's so much power in the dollar, right? Pulling your money, right? The biggest way to affect somebody is to pull your money, right? But also relinquishing your support. It doesn't cost anything to watch TGIF. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe to people on YouTube. But we don't have to be determined to tune in and watch and absorb people who are just hell-bent and unapologetically willing to disrespect us while telling us how we need to respect them. It doesn't make any sense. So it definitely seems that there's an effect to be made. And I also want to get into the fact that I see a lot of the sentiment pertaining to Funky Dineva about the apology and why they feel like he shouldn't have given an apology. There's a lot that we're going to be getting into today. I really had so many thoughts that I had to organize them and put them in a specific order. So I'm definitely ready to get into this. And this video, for the most part, it came to mind because, again, it's so lazy, it's so tired, it's so outdated. Every time somebody disagrees or is critical or holds a member of the LGBT community accountable, you're phobic, you're homophobe, you're transphobe, you're this, you're that. Oh, what you're saying right now is going to cause so much more violence onto our community. Oh, you didn't say some. Oh, what's his sexual orientation got to do with it? What's the LGBT community got to do with it? Oh, you picking on him because he's part of the LGBT community. No, I'm not. And I need you to pump your brakes, and I need you to slow down and try to listen with intent, or get the hell out my face. Don't come over here being intentionally obtuse and parroting off your same talking points that you parrot off at anybody who is critical of you. At the end of the day, I'm responding to disrespect. I'm responding to disrespect. And so instead of you staying on task and being like, you know what's going on over there was wrong, you come over here and you're intentionally not seeing things correctly, because you want to get your rocks off and call everybody homophobic. You know what? Slinging the word homophobic or whatever phobic around, it doesn't even hold power anymore. It doesn't. I'm going to be honest. When you sling it around without listening with intent to listen to what someone's saying, nobody cares. And that's not to say that I don't care about harm that is inflicted upon the LGBT community, but nobody has energy to care because y'all throw it around. So y'all throw it around like confetti. Y'all throw it around like it's parsley. I put that shit on everything. You put it on everything. So it doesn't mean anything anymore. It doesn't hold any weight. It doesn't hold any weight. You come over here asking me why I didn't say some members of the LGBT community, and I did say some because I said some, not all. I'm speaking to the misogynists. I'm not speaking to all of them. And you skip past, you got your selective hearing, and you skip past all that and say, oh, don't lump us all together. Well, I didn't. I told you not to take a bullet that's not meant for you. Are you a misogynist man in the LGBT community? No, because your comment just said that you're not, but you're telling me not to lump you in with them. But I'm literally saying I'm not speaking to you if you're not a misogynist man within that community. But what I find interesting is when Funky Dineva sits down and he says, you women, you black hussies, you black bitches, he don't never say some. He might have seen some raunchy women in his life and he might be talking about them. He never says some. Do I see you leaving them paragraphs over there with him? Oh, as a man of the LGBT community, please don't lump me in. I didn't lump you in. Are you misogynist? Oh, okay. Okay. Exactly. Mango lips. Hit dogs will holler, right? So let's go ahead and get started. We have a lot of really interesting things to discuss today. And I hope y'all checked on y'all mental health today. And I hope you're having a good weekend so far, okay? What you drinking, what you eating, what you had for dinner, what you laying up doing, what you smoking, what strain, what's going on? Is it sativa? Is it Kush? What you got going on? Let me know what you are indulging on right now. All right, so let's get right into it, right? Because we're speaking about misogyny and it's all this, well, you're picking on the LGBT community. No, I'm not. I'm pointing out misogyny and how it can literally come from anybody with an XY chromosome. Let's start there, all right? So let's talk about this fella right here who done moved on to glory or moved on to Hell's Kitchen in the basement. We don't know. We can assume, we can guess, but we don't know where this brother is. Kevin Samuels. Now, let me ask you a series of questions, and I want y'all to know. I really do want to know. I want you to comment along whether you're on the replay, chasing a bus, or whether you're on the bus right now. Kevin Samuels did what for a living here on YouTube? Because he made his living off of YouTube, right? Kevin Samuels did what? What for a living here on YouTube? What did he do? What did he do? He talked. He made his money and he talked. Got up to more than 1 million subscribers, right? He shared his opinion here on YouTube. We're going to get into it today. Kevin Samuels shared his opinion here on YouTube, right? Okay. He dogged, he degraded, he disrespected Black women to the point where that was the literal baseline of his platform. Undeniably, the baseline of his platform. Talking down on Black women was how he built himself up. Kevin Samuels shared. Now, you might not agree with his opinion, right? I know I didn't. A broken clock is right twice a day, sometimes just twice a year. You might not agree with his opinion, but he shared his whatever opinion, whether it was a fabricated opinion or not, whether it was an exaggerated opinion or not. It was his perspective and his position, right? Now, his method of sharing his opinion was more so blunt statements, right? Very direct. Wasn't even trying to hide what he was trying to say about Black women. I mean, he was very direct with it. Very rare was it a joke. I mean, sometimes you would get the big Shirley can't fit, calling women fat and you don't, you're not a high value woman. You don't deserve a high value man. But it was very blunt, right? It wasn't hitting under the guise of I'm a comedian, I'm a roaster. It was really straightforward, to be quite frank with you. And so I'm asking these questions because now I want to know, what have we been collectively sounding off about when it comes to not only what gold lipstick Funky Dineva did in this situation with Chloe and Halle, Not only this situation, because this isn't an isolated incident, an isolated day or episode. This is a well-documented pattern. What have we been collectively sounding off about when it comes to his pattern, including what has recently happened to spark this whole thing off? The repeated degradation and disrespect of Black women. So when I talk about misogyny and it coming in so many different forms, this is what I mean. So a lot of the men and the mammies defending him are using the Funky doesn't owe her an apology. It's just his opinion. Oh, Kevin Samuels also had an opinion. I'm not excusing it or making it right. Kevin Samuels also had an opinion too. And both of them are very similar. They're both YouTubers. They both shared their opinions about how trash they thought Black women were. And this is what they built their platform off of. They monetized off of sharing their hatred for Black women via opinion. Get it? But the largest and most important similarity between Kevin Samuels and Funky Dineva, what they have in common is they're both men. They're both men. And so I find it really interesting that the same women, the same mammies who are making excuses for Funky Dineva and his opinion were some of the same women who were hooting and hollering and hooting and speaking up and sounding off and had their feelings hurt about Kevin Samuels and what he was doing. So why is it that when a heterosexual presenting man disrespects Black women, you have a problem with it? But if they got a little sugar in their tank, you accept it, you eat it, and it's funny. How come you can't see that it's misogyny on the other side too? Help me understand. Help me. Help me out. Don't let the fact that Funky or any other man that's feminine disarm you or deter you from clocking the misogyny from XY chromosomes. Hello. So when the constant disrespect is wrapped in a joke or a clapback coming from a man with a feminine persona, the misogyny is more acceptable. The disrespect is more acceptable. You can't see that? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. The same men and women who are defending Funky Dineva had they were just hollering to the moon. But I guess if you wear lipstick, sandals, bad wigs, got bad feet, and you go, girl, I'm going down to the bar where the big cars be, girl, oh, then they get a pass to be misogynist. No, they don't. They don't. They do not. What I find to be extremely disheartening in this case is it seems as though, right, Black women are so used to accepting disrespect, and being degraded that we tolerate it on many fronts. But this one, right, it's the fact that you should be able to easily recognize it and call it out, no matter where it's coming from. I just don't understand how it's okay for a feminine presenting man to disrespect you, but when it comes to a masculine man, that's where the buck stops. Keep it even across the board. Now, I will say that I did speak up and out about Kevin Samuels. I did. And I'm keeping the same energy with Funky Dineva. The same exact energy. Nothing's changed for me. But I'm seeing the hypocrisy amongst the mammies who are sitting here doing this work, defending this man that don't give a damn about you. Funky does not like you. He is not your ally, Black women. He's not. He's shown you this time and time again. You've got women saying it literally over the years. Over more than 10 years, Funky Dineva has been blatantly disrespecting Black women under the guise of, I'm a comedian, it's a joke, all the way down to a baby like Blue Ivy. Blue Ivy was a child. Blue Ivy was a child when he stood up on them bow-legged, or on whatever, what them Flintstone feet, and sat there and said, Blue Ivy ain't cute, quiet as it's kept. And this is the shit that y'all giggle at. We need to be a bit more on code. Thank goodness for the ones of us who were on code enough and we made enough noise that Funky had to sit up there and give a disingenuous apology and tuck his tail between his legs. And you could tell he was uncomfortable and you could tell he didn't mean it. However, it did humble his ass a bit. It humbled his ass a bit. Do I believe his apology? No. Some people felt like I wish he wouldn't have apologized because I know he didn't mean that shit. I hate fake apologies. Well, guess what? That's not where I stand with it. You know why? It embarrassed him. It made him uncomfortable. He was visibly uncomfortable having to apologize that way. Because Funky is used to telling people how they need to respect him and his peers in his community. And he's not used to being held accountable. And he's entitled. And we saw that clearly with the way he's entitled to Halle's womb and what's going on in there. And if she won't share it, then she need to stay her ass in the house. He's entitled to speak on women's business, to say whatever he want to say, to call us all types of bitches and everything else, and never thought the day would come when he would be held accountable. You know why it's a victory for us? It's a victory because when have we ever seen a member of the LGBT community come out and have to apologize to heterosexual women? It's always the other way around. When have we ever seen it? So he never thought that he would be affected or be hit by that pendulum of accountability. He never thought that pendulum would swing his way. Oh, but it did yesterday. And you could tell how uncomfortable he was. And not only him, his buddy Al, who joined in and thought it was funny, all the way down to a fault where he contradicted himself. They tag teamed Claudia. They tag teamed heterosexual women with entitlement and misogyny. And they lost. They showed up to work the next day still thinking it was funny, still thinking that they got away with whatever and that they have an upper hand because they're men. And they learned. They had to sit there and apologize. And Al just had to apologize last week to a female sorority. So it's 2 L's for Tweedledum and Tweedledee. So, So Funky doubled down with that apology. He doesn't feel like he was too harsh and all of this other stuff. It didn't sit well. It didn't sit well. But back to Black women being used to tolerating and accepting disrespect. We're so used to being degraded that we tolerate it from we tolerate it from other men other than heterosexual men. And then turn around and make excuses for certain men and say it's okay for them to make fun of us. It's okay. No, baby, it's not. You can argue with me all day and night. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. So you can come over here. I stand with Funky. He didn't say anything wrong. It was his opinion. Okay, well, go watch Kevin Samuels videos and take that shit down and internalize that as well. Is that funny to you? Do we really crave male attention that bad? Because I'm starting to feel like that's what it is. You get tired of ain't shit niggas. I get it. You get tired of ain't shit niggas. You get tired of niggas in general, whatever the case is. So you like, he's still a man, but whatever. So you tolerate disrespect from a man in a dress or a man that's feminine or whatever the case is. Baby, stand up. Stand up. Tired of it. If you're sitting around laughing at these men, I don't give a shit if they're heterosexual. I don't give a shit how they identify. But specifically, I see the pattern within some women who let it slide if it's coming from a feminine man because it's wrapped up in a joke. How old were we when we learned that there's a little bit of truth to every joke? And it'd be different if it was just 1 or 2 jokes, constant jokes over the year. No, you mean that. You mean that. You ever told somebody they breath stink but tried to wrap it up in a joke? You ever told somebody that they stink and wrapped it up in a joke? You ever told somebody their hair wasn't right or that they need to get some, but wrapped it up in a joke? It was some truth. You really meant a little bit of that, but you tried to just take the edge off. You ever told somebody something and just put a LOL at the end of the sentence just to smooth it over a little bit? That's how you felt, and that's what you wanted to convey. It's no different here. It's no different. Stand up. And you are part of the problem, women. Black women, when you sit up and you laugh at these feminine men who are making jokes about you or other Black women or just women in general, you're part of the problem if you're giggling. You're enabling them. You're giving them validation that it is okay to continue and for it to intensify and get worse and snowball. You are. And so for the number of y'all who are all up in my comments, you're phobic, you're targeting his sexuality. What does the sexuality got to do with it? I am making something clear to the women, okay? To the women who cannot see that misogyny can come from any penis holder or any XY chromosome, regardless of their sexual origin. Many women are missing this fact. This is the point that I'm trying to drive home, that they are refusing. They're refusing to get the point because they want to stand by a feminine man who disrespects us. And it's off code. It's off code. Men got a code, right? Men got code, they got bro code. The LGBT community got a code, they got white community got a code. You know, women, where's our code? Where's our solidarity? Where's it at? I'm trying to understand. Many women are missing this fact, and they're not clocking it, and they're not able to see and recognize the misogyny coming from non-hetero presenting men. I don't care if you identify as gay, bi, pan, fluid, trans. I don't care what you identify, the L, the G, the B, the T. I don't care if you identify as the I, the R, the S, baby. Tolerating that disrespect and sitting up there and giggling in their face is a violation. It's a violation. It's a violation. But make no mistake, straight men do it too. And that's the point that I'm trying to make here. I'm drawing a Venn diagram, if you will. Because I do talk about misogyny coming from other men here on this channel. So when I point it out coming from another place, I need women to understand it is not just heterosexual presenting men that are going to be misogynistic or give or serve up misogyny to you. It's not just them. You need to see it coming from over here too. It's like y'all are blinded by having a little giggle buddy. If you ain't got no female friends around, or you like to, don't get me wrong. I do know that men who are a part of the LGBT community, they can be funny. They can be funny. When we're not the butt end of the joke, or just in general, they can be funny as hell and cool to hang with. But you got to draw a boundary or a line in the sand somewhere, baby. So you can be cool with them, but stand up and put your foot down sometimes and stop letting bullshit ride. Damn, they taking our bathrooms. They taking our sports. They taking your homegirls, levels of comfort. There's a literal war. This is a war right now. Do you not see? Regular men think that they can talk to us any old fucking type of way and do anything. And some of the men in the LGBT community feel like they can do the same too. So how much it's to the point where the heterosexual men are even saying it. I can't tell you how many comments I see daily because of this discussion and in general, back when the T.S. Madison versus Just Hilarious and now, heterosexual men literally saying, Told you so. Y'all gave them an inch. Y'all supported their shit. And now they done took over y'all space and y'all can't get y'all respect back because y'all gave them a bit too much. We're fighting for safety in many different facets and areas. How the hell does an XY chromosome that grew out their hair and has feminine pronouns, but at the end of the day was assigned male at birth, was over there swimming with the men, losing, come over with the women, winning, getting medals? That's our sport. It's for the vaginas, not you. You can call yourself a woman. You can say your pronouns are she, her. I don't give a damn. But this ain't your sport. And then for the women who spoke up about it, who were on that swimming team, the administration had a nerve to slap them in counseling because they felt like they were being hateful and discriminatory by speaking up against that. Do you see how quick shit can go left when you let shit like that slide? To the point where the documentary that I watched on it, the women didn't even feel comfortable showing their faces because they've been bullied by certain segments, some of the LGBT community. They had been harassed for speaking up about this. Can you imagine playing a sport and then a sport that's specific to what you were identified as at birth, right? And then somebody else comes over there and starts winning medals and taking things from you. And when you say, hey, that's wrong. Hey, go to a psychologist because clearly something wrong with you. This person has a right to swim just like you. Hello, this is women's sports. Damn, do we got to call it coochie sports? Because anybody can wake up and call themselves a woman in the morning. Do we got to call it coochie and dick sports? Like, what do we need to call it? It's dangerous to give them this much leeway because I guarantee you trying to get it back is going to be 8 times as hard. But as I stated, heterosexual men do it, heterosexual presenting men do it. And there's also people who don't identify as heterosexual who will be misogynistic towards you. We've got to just abandon, deprogram yourself from thinking that only straight men can be misogynistic towards you. That's not true. And we need to wake up and clock it a bit better, a bit faster, and figure out how to address it and start calling them out on their stuff or disassociating yourself from them when they decide that they're getting a bit too comfortable to do it. It's getting out of hand. It's getting way out of hand. Need some education.
Education, special education, psychiatric medication, juvenile incarceration, emotional frustration, and premature extermination.
Got to get some of these mammies together real quick because they just too bold coming over here. Let this man say whatever he want about these women. It's not, and again, they so short-minded. He can call Chloe ugly if he wants to. That's his opinion. Now, and then some of these mammies, let them get pregnant. And let a man walk up to them and say, is you pregnant? Tell me if you're pregnant right now. If not, go in the house for 9 months since you don't want to tell me. Now, if it was you, you wouldn't be feeling that way. But you so caught up in this black male worship. You so caught up in being a fan. I've been subscribed for so long. I'm still going to stand him. I'm going to take that. That's my man. That's my feminine man that I stand. And I'm going to stick beside him. Some of y'all.
It was gone.
Let me just go in the bush and weep. Let me just go in the bush and weep. I just have to go in the bush and weep. Really. I don't understand. I swear to God, I don't understand.
Too much going on. Shout out to Salaya in the chat. I wanted to personally speak to you. I know you said the donation yesterday, but I know I had misconstrued something you had said in the chat yesterday too. So I wanted to give you a shout out. So that's that. Okay. Both men do it. Ain't nobody picking on nobody because of their sexuality. But one thing that I'm talking to women who need to wake up and speak up about this. The men not going to come up here and speak up and speak out about the disrespect on the receiving end of us. So we need to wake up the women about this. And there are more and more women waking up. Shout out to Layla Lynn. Speaking of Layla Lynn, let's go ahead and get into something that she pointed out in her video that she uploaded today. I'm so grateful because every single video from a woman that I've seen about this subject, we've all had different points that we've missed. I've had so many different ways and points of thinking about this and how and why Alan Funky's, response and how they came at this was wrong. And how old were we when we learned it's not what you say, it's how you say? So some of it is kind of like the way Funky was saying it, it was just nasty, right? But every woman, I want to commend every single woman who has stood up for a woman, speaking out about this. Everyone has had a bit of a different point. We've all had different points that we've missed, if that makes sense. But all of us see it kind of similar, but different. We all know it's wrong, but everybody's pointing out a different thing. And I think it's a beautiful collective. And we didn't even know that we were going to come together this way. And that's what I can respect and appreciate about this. This movement came out of nowhere. And we need to keep it going. We need not let this pass like your typical news cycle. It comes for 2-3 days and then they go on to the next thing. Nah, because this is a victory. Again, I'm asking anybody in the chat, anybody watching this, when is the last time you've seen a member of the LGBT community have to issue an apology because their job was on the line and pressure came down from the upper management and they had to apologize to a heterosexual woman? When? History is being made. Might be baby steps, might not be exactly all the progress that we want in this moment. Oh, but baby, I was shocked and I was excited and elated to see the discomfort on Al's face and the clear discomfort in the tail between the legs and Funky Dineva. Although he didn't mean that apology, it was embarrassing and humiliating for him to have to do that, especially because he didn't mean it. And especially because, he's going to go down to the bar with a big Cosby and talk to his homies or his girls who are going to tell him, oh, you wasn't wrong. And he will, I know I wasn't wrong. I just said that to keep, yeah, but you still had to say something. Something had to be done. So, so shout out to Layla Lynn. If I didn't go find her link, you know what? I'll put if I have a moderator, can somebody put the link to her channel in the chat for me, please? I'll just continue with my talking points. Layla Lynn did her video, and I'm gonna play a snippet of it, and I do recommend you all go watch it. I'll put the link to the video in the description box when I get done here. She shouted me out because she recorded this video yesterday before the actual apology was posted to Fox Soul's page. See, I caught it Thursday night when it aired, and I went ahead and I grabbed it, and then I went live around like midnight or 1 o'clock or something like that. So I had the apology 12 hours earlier than it was before it was hard posted onto the channel. So she shouted me out. She took, my screen recording and played the thing. And that I really did appreciate that, because Layla Lynn has 345,000 subscribers and I just have 32,000. So the fact that she literally told her people to just support my channel. She was like, I said, go watch this video, subscribe to the PLAINESTjane. That really meant a lot to me. But she made a really, really, really good point. Now, before we get to the point she made, matter of fact, she made several good points. Let me go back. She made several good points. Okay. Several of them. And I want to get into one thing that she pointed out that there was so much going on in the video that I didn't get a chance to really slow down and see exactly what she saw in this clip that we're about to play. Drop some pancakes in the chat if you haven't already. Hit thumbs up and let's watch this snippet, because if you haven't seen Layla Lynn's video, you might not have caught this either. Hey, thanks for letting me keep you connected and in the know with what's happening in the Black world. Don't forget to smash on that like button for support and for more Black news. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here. Make sure we can see her logo. All right, Well, you pull it down. All right. I am going to thank y'all so much for watching. I do appreciate y'all's support. All right, let's take a listen and tell me what you think.
I love that. Q, what do you think about this? Q?
Okay, so just to be clear, we're starting at the point where Claudia was asking Q or Funky Dineva or Miss Funky Dineva, because yeah, there's an MS in front of his name, because I guess, you know, he wants to be a woman. Maybe that explains some of his vitriol. She's asking how he feels about the Chloe Halle situation. So let's go ahead and just to give you some insight on exactly where we are with this.
Q? If you don't share it, they talk shit if you do share it and judge and all kind of things. And Chloe, she don't play about that little baby. That her little.
She don't.
Neither one of them do, and I love that. Q, what do you think about this? Q?
You know.
Don't.
So let me pause it right here. And this is why I took my screenshot right here of the video. When Quentin, Q, Funky Dineva, whatever you want to call him, when he made this face, I knew it was about to go left. I already knew from the headlines, because I only watched it because of the headlines.
Newsflash, you don't need IT certification. I've been told if you.
But when I saw this face, I was like, okay, here we go. It's about to go left.
Play with you, Q.
This story, before I was indifferent about Chloe Bailey, and I know this story is about Haley, I can officially say I don't like her. Chloe Bailey is so goddamn lame to me. First of all, girl, you were Miss Preppy Ashley from the suburbs. Then you came out, you was being all promiscuous and shit. And
all right. So let me just comment on this, because I do get what he's saying about Chloe giving different personas. But Preppy Ashley from the suburbs has a sexual side too. Any woman has a sexual side. So I feel like when you say, oh, you're supposed to be Preppy Ashley from the suburbs, it's contradictory, because every woman from every location has a sexual side. And I do feel like, yes, Chloe is finding herself, but we've all had to find ourselves as adults. Funky Dineva and I are in the same age range. We're also both graduates of the Florida State University, okay? And as adults, we know that you have to find yourself. And I'll say this, as far as Funky Dineva, we've seen him find himself on camera. Like, he used to come on camera in the outfits, the Funky Dineva character. He used to come on camera in that character, and now he comes on camera as Quentin. So he found himself. So the fact that he found himself should help him understand that Chloe is a young woman finding herself as well. That's my opinion, but let's continue.
and now you're trying to be a gangster. None of it is.
Okay. So what I want to say about that is first of all, nothing. Did anything give gangster about Chloe saying, keep my sister's name out your mouth? Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. What's gangster about that? Like a gangster is somebody that you should be scared of, that they saying something to really like intimidate you with, like what? She's not trying to be gangster. Like, at what point are they working from reality? It's just like acting like Chloe's Halle's lying. She's telling me a bold-faced lie, telling me she's not pregnant when she is. She never told you she wasn't pregnant. She posted a picture. She posted a picture and a video. She didn't tell you she was pregnant. Do you know her? Like, the entitlement it's bizarre to me. However, what I found really interesting was, yes, the face that Funky was making at this timestamp, I do think it was very telling. And what Layla was saying prior to this timestamp was she had been following Funky years ago, and Funky was defining the difference between a drag and just giving somebody some criticism or critique, which is you criticize or you critique something that can be changed, their clothes, you know, their hair, their shoes, but people can't change their face. You know, people can't change. And this is a young woman, hasn't been under the knife or anything of that nature. And again, the way he went on Chloe, when it wasn't even really about Chloe, this is a young woman that's sitting up there showing off her nails and talking about her outfit. Real young, innocent girl shit. And so him making that face going in before he even said anything, it really gave, he knew he was about to say something. He even said, I know I'm probably going to get some pushback from this. He gets glee. It seems it's almost as if he fetishizes off of the pain and the humiliation and telling degrading jokes about Black women. And it's been a pattern of his for well over 10 years now. Shout out to Claudia Jordan in the chat again. She was in the chat earlier today as well. This facial expression says a lot. And that's why sometimes when people screw up and they mess up, people want to see an in-person apology or PR statement, because regardless of what you say or what you can put together or read from a paper or memorize, your body language says a lot. And not only does his body language say a lot right here, his body language said a lot in that BS apology he gave. You could tell he didn't want to give it. Another thing I wanted to point out was he gets in saying, I don't think what I said was that bad, but I guess I shouldn't have talked about her looks. It was the Haley thing, but he also gets to the end and says, she's our unproblematic princess, Chloe. Princess? What would make her a princess to you? You dragged her from the rooter from the tutor. You dragged her based on how she looked, how she looks without makeup, her career, how she acts, her personality. You sat up there and told a lie like she's trying to be gangster, like she went out here and bought a pistol and got hydraulics, like she out here trying to be Chloe from Set It Off with a cigarette in her mouth day after day. I mean, like, that is not how you describe a princess. Everything that you said about, so it's bullshit. It's bullshit. And he started the apology. Oh, I know I sit up on this show and say when people give apologies, they be fake. So I'm not going to give you one. I wanted to get it was absolutely fake. And you get to the end and call her an unproblematic princess. If she was truly a princess to you in your eye, you would have never came at her that way. And the most offensive thing for me, well, one of the more offensive things that you said was, I'm doing all this. I'm being entitled to your womb, Chloe girl, right? Because I care about you. So you care about her and you dragged her sister down to the white meat. A whole verbal attack, unsolicited, unprovoked. Unprovoked. So miss me with it. This is poor PR. I mean, I know Al is a brand strategist. Well, damn, did he help you out? Or did he tell you, oh no, we're right because you know. So you ain't do that wrong. Just go in there and just, is that what he told you? Damn. What's happening? I just wanted to point that out because that smug face, that is definitely a look of a smug face. He knew he was about to say something that wasn't right, that wasn't acceptable, and he even articulated it. This is probably about to get me in trouble, but I don't like her ass. You say you don't like her. You say she's fake. You say she's not authentic. You say she's ugly. You said she's fat. You said her career ain't shit, and that's why her shit ain't selling. Don't nobody describe no princess. And then you gonna come back the next day and call her a princess. Man, keep that shit. Keep that shit. And Al sitting up there laughing like a schoolgirl. It's ridiculous. And I just want to say this. I've heard a couple of people say that Claudia just sat there and let it happen. You know what? I'm going to disagree. She was one woman and these two men were over talking her and biting her goddamn head off. And she already looked visibly uncomfortable. She looked defeated and they consistently cut her off. And if she had gotten aggressive and tried to gain control again, when you're trying to overtalk, right, or get your point across to two people who are over talking you, you know they would have called her an angry woman, right? They would have called her aggressive. Mind you, she's the host of the show. And these two are going off on a tangent. Somebody's got to try to keep it together and take up for women at the same time. And she did utter the word. It's the misogyny for me. They went on commercial break. You could tell they were still arguing through the commercial break. And they're still biting her head off. And she's like, it's the misogyny for me. It's like if somebody don't want to be outed, and then Q says, oh, you always got to stick up your ass about the LGBT community. Well, Q, you always have to stick up your ass about Black women. Let's talk about it. It's the hypocrisy for me. How can you see in everybody else what you don't see in yourself? How can you call somebody ugly when you look the way you look? How can you not respect the way that natural women look? You get tired of all of this artificial BBL bullshit. The BBL starter kit, as I heard you call it the other day, the boobs, the nose, everybody's starting to look the same. And here you have a natural woman, a young woman at that, sitting here with no makeup, and you drag her like that, and you look like overcooked Scrabble? Are you kidding me? And Al is far too old to be acting that way, in my opinion. But, you know, he had his buddy Q who completely changed his mind because his tide changed quickly. But let me just move on to my next point. This is so irritating for a lot of women. And what's really interesting about this video from Layla is Layla truly does make a lot of videos, and all of her videos are not biased. She'll give you all the report, and then she'll wait to the very end to give you her opinion. This is a video where she gave her opinion through and through because she said, I'm tired of it. I am tired of women being attacked this way, and I'm going to stand up and I'm going to say something. And she's a very sweet, and I've never heard her this triggered and upset. So, you know, long story short, like I said, I do appreciate her.
When trans rights are under attack, we show up. I love being able to use my experience to change hearts and minds.
So yeah, I do appreciate her standing up, and I do appreciate the members of the men who are a part of the LGBT community for standing up and calling Funky out, rightfully so. I do.
Let's all move on from this, because Funky Dineva has issued an apology. I am going to react to his apology, but I want you guys to check out his apology. thePLAINESTjane has his apology. I believe she was in the live, like when it was filming live, and so she has his apology. At the time that I'm making this video, it hasn't been released on YouTube yet, on like the Fox Soul YouTube channel, but she does have his apology. And so I'm going to put a link below to his apology, and I'm also going to react to his apology. But I want you guys to support my girl, thePLAINESTjane. And by support, I mean subscribe to her channel. Open it up in a new tab and then come back to this tab, because I'm going to be reacting to his apology.
So that was really sweet, and I do appreciate it. And I implore you all to go subscribe to her channel as well. Check it out. Open it up in the tab. I'll drop the link. Thank you to my moderator who put it in the Discord. I got the link right here. I'll drop the link to her channel as well. And her video is 27 minutes long, and it's really it's good. She points out some great things. One of the great things that she pointed out that I do want to touch on really quick is the pregnancy entitlement that Al had towards but that both Al and Funky shared regarding Halle, right? Or Haley, I'm sorry. So basically it was, if you are if you're pregnant, tell us. Don't lie to us. And if you're not going to tell us that you're pregnant, then stay home. Halle is a working woman. This is her job, whether it's filming a movie or going out and interacting with fans or making public appearances. She can't just stay in the house and work. So how dare you tell a woman that you're assuming is pregnant? I can't say that I'm convinced that Halle is pregnant. I can't say that, that I'm convinced. But if the assumption that Al and Funky are going with is that she is pregnant, how dare you tell her to stay in the house for 9 months because they won't share with you what's going on inside her uterus? How dare you tell her to not work? Like, what day and age are we living in that this is a whole working woman and you're saying stay in the house? She still has the right to work. Are you kidding me? How many other celebrities still work and make appearances or go out and do whatever they can do that's not too stressful? Did we not see Rihanna at the Super Bowl? I know Al gave that raving reviews. He thought it was amazing. And she pulled out the Fenty and everything else. So And Rihanna hid hers for a substantial amount of time before she told anybody, because she and every other woman has that right. She has that right. How dare you think that you have that much control over women? And again, it's because you give them an inch and they take a mile. I don't know if it's intentional, like we're going to tell these women what to do, or if they're just wired to try to control women in general. And it's been the case since day one. Sexism and misogyny, it's been a thing since the beginning of time. So I don't know if men are just hardwired to do that and they don't realize it. But back to my original point, I want you to understand that misogyny is not just coming from heterosexual men. It's not just coming from men that you're in a relationship with or men that you are attracted to. It's coming from any XY chromosome holder, period. Period. So I just wanted to say that and give Layla her props. Okay. She need to stay home. Like, what? Right. Talk about she need to stay home. The video was literally of her walking in her house. Like, what the hell? Don't come out the house if you're not going to tell us that you're pregnant. Like, what? What? So, you know, back to other points, right? I wanted to talk about Layla Lynn and those things. Halle. Shout out, get Halle, Haley. It's three different variations of how to say that. And shout out, I get confused. So back to the point of the overage of comments. It's not all gay men. I've said that repeated. I've said it too. It's just like the series that I have, Issues Under the Flag. And it's a series where I specifically call out pedophiles and predators who are literally infiltrating the LGBT community and lying about their sexual orientation in order to get away with targeting children and abusing them in some sort of sexual way. And that's what that series is about. It's about how most of them do not even identify as part of the LGBT community. But they know that if they say, I'm this, I'm that, people are more apprehensive. They're apprehensive about approaching people. Hey, what are you doing with them children? What's going on with this after school club? Oh, it's the LGBT. People are more apprehensive because they don't want to deal with the flack or the pushback or the backlash of asking questions to LGBT people, because nobody wants to deal with the hoopla that may come from just asking honest questions, right? And it doesn't matter how many times I say this is not, pedophilia is not a sexual orientation. As much as they're trying to make it one, the MAPs, the minor attracted people, as much as they're trying to make it one, it is not. And so when I talk about Issues Under the Flag, it's only in the name of protecting children and exposing people who are targeting children by lying and saying that they're a part of the LGBT community. The LGBT community has truthfully been hijacked. People may not want to admit it, but it has been hijacked. And it's frequently being infiltrated by predators targeting children. And it doesn't matter how many times I say I'm only talking about this, and I'm pulling up the news articles and I'm pulling up the video, and they're like, oh, you're homophobic. Why do you think pedophilia is a... And I'm like, I literally repeat the same sentences 3 times every 10 minutes to make sure they intentionally miss it, because they're just used to parroting off their talking points and being the victim of some shit that nobody even said. Nobody even said it, right? So when I get it's not all gay men down in the comments, when I've said a million times, it's not all gay men. It's not all gay men. It's not all men within it. First of all, it's not all of the men who are being misogynistic from the LGBT community aren't gay. There are other classifications, right? I said that. I'm like, it's the misogynistic ones. It's not all of you. If you're not spewing misogyny from within inside that community, then I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking about you. So what don't you understand? Yeah, it's not all gay men. But it has the capability to come from any man. And that's the part that a lot of women and mammies are missing. That a lot of people are missing. The mammies seem to only be able to pick up on it when it's coming from a heterosexual seeming or presenting man. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I just, I need y'all to come up with something new. Better yet, just stop watching videos that it's going to trigger you to want to call somebody phobic. Take that shit somewhere else where somebody else may really care. It's really, you're more like a gnat flying around me. I'm not homophobic. I could give a damn who you fuck or who you suck. Okay. But back to Funky in this whole situation. I'm glad that somehow, some way, he got the call, he got the pressure to issue an apology, and you could tell he didn't want to give it. He didn't want to give it because he's always gotten away. He's always gotten away with saying things like this, inflammatory things like this, towards Black women in particular, because it's spicy. It's quote unquote spicy. It's good for their ratings, and Black women eat it up and they giggle like schoolgirls all day about it. And see, Funky Dineva has never been outside of the Blue Ivy thing. But I think maybe he thought that because she was a baby, that maybe that's what it was. It wasn't the fact that she was a black, I was about to say black young woman, a black female, right? A black girl, right? At the end of the day, she was a signed female at birth, right? I think the fact that he thought it was a baby, he's like, all right, I can't do babies, but I can still do these Black women. I can still do them though. I think that he thought that outside of that, he never thought that he would be struck by the belt. He thought that his community was the only one holding the belt. And a lot of times you do find some members of the LGBT community, when they feel offended, they're holding the belt and they're spanking up against people and they're calling people's jobs and pulling their support and let's boycott this because they're discriminating against this and we're offended like they're consistently holding the belt at so many different people. But again, I'll ask you, when have we ever seen a member of the LGBT community, a man of the LGBT community, had to apologize to a heterosexual woman because what they said was offensive? And not only apologize to the woman that they were directing it at, but their viewers. Because again, I can sit up here and say something disparaging about one Mexican or one Jewish person. It's going to be offensive to every other Mexican or Jewish person that's a part of my audience. And so therefore, it is offensive to the viewers. And especially because the bulk of the viewers and the people who watch Fox Soul and TGIF and Funky Dineva are Black women. So we did get offended by what he said and the entitlement towards Halle and the vitriol towards Chloe. And he had to apologize to us about that. Do we accept it? Should we go back? Should we watch again? Should we resubscribe if we've already unsubscribed? Hell no. If you haven't already unsubscribed, please do so. Please do so. This is just the beginning. We caused a lot of noise we made a lot of noise in a very short period of time. It's quite phenomenal if you ask me. So I don't think that Funky's changed. I think he's the same to the core. He absolutely meant that shit. But like I said, misogyny, it appears in different ways, and we just need to be rejecting it and speaking up and out about all forms of misogyny. And a lot of us, some of us do, especially the ones with public platforms. A new version, a truly Black one. Oh, snap, what's going on? Nice. So another thing I wanted to say about the people in my comments who want to say, don't lump us all together. What you're saying is perpetuating harm towards our community. And again, that's your community, right? It's not my community. You're a man in the LGBT community, and you're saying that my response to Funky's disrespect is perpetuating or going to cause additional harm to your community. Well, my community is the community of Black women. And so you're saying because I didn't say some enough, I said some 7 times in an hour-long video, and that wasn't enough for you. But I honestly can't ever remember a time that Funky has disrespected Black women and said some. So I don't like wasting time, but if I was to use your logic on you, is Funky's words perpetuating harm against Black women? I mean, beyond it just hurting our feelings, beyond you emboldening other people with the ignorant mindset that y'all Black women are y'all heifers and y'all bitches and y'all this and y'all that. No. That's harmful as well. And you might not see all of the effects or understand all of the effects because This isn't your experience and it's not your community, and vice versa. So why are you writing me a soliloquy and a dissertation about how I need to change how I'm responding to the disrespect, but you're not addressing the disrespect and where it's coming from? Are you leaving them long paragraphs over there and telling him to respect us? And another thing is just like, we've got everyday citizens, and nobody's better than anybody. I'm not the public figures, or because you have a following, it doesn't make you any bigger or better or more or less worthy of respect. But everyday citizens who are not public figures, they're not willing to start a platform and speak up and speak out against public figures. But we are expected to look at the comments and say, oh, there are a couple of men who are part of the LGBT community who say that, you know, this is phobic. Don't talk like this. You need to say some more often and not all. Stop making it a blanket statement. Stop lumping us all together. When the truth of the matter is, we are combating people who have public platforms and a very large reach, right? Funky Dineva has over 400,000 subscribers, and you know, you've got other people. I won't bring anybody else into it, but we know that Funky is not the only problematic man who is a part of the LGBT community who spews vitriol and hate and hurtful shit. And no matter how many times we tell them that's offensive, that's disrespectful, please don't do or say or call us this. That's not what I mean. You just whatever. I'm gonna say it anyway because you clearly don't know what the word means. We're combating these other public figures and their ability to spread this to other everyday citizens. It is an influence at the end of the day. So if you're telling me that what I'm saying might influence, you know, cause a ripple effect, a negative ripple effect to you, then the things that these other public figures are saying, how many public figures do we have that are speaking up and aren't as entitled and speaking out about the protection of Black women and calling Funky out for being wrong, and people who share the sentiments of Funky wrong, if that makes sense. So I'm supposed to stand down against all of the other public figures. All we have is our voices, right? I'm supposed to change my dialect and stand down against all the public figures to appease, you know, everyday people who aren't willing to speak up. Where outside of Flame Monroe, who else is speaking up and out against us? So we're just supposed to let the public figures with these large platforms, because if you have a large platform, you have power to influence people, whether it be good or bad. And that is exactly what's happening. It's no different than Kevin Samuels. The more Kevin Samuels preached that shit, the more we found men were gathering those talking points over the course of a few years. It influenced the everyday citizens. So we have to find a way to combat these people with these large platforms. It's no different than news networks and the radios making sure that they play stuff that's going to encourage the teenagers and adults and whatever to do drugs and be violent. It's an influence at the end of the day, and it's going to influence the everyday person. So I have a platform. I have a duty to speak up when I'm being disrespected. And when I feel like there's going to be a negative ripple effect that affects people who look like me and people who are a part of my community. And I think that Black women need we might not agree on everything, but we have to agree that we're being disrespected, and we have to at least get on code about that. We might be different political parties. We might not agree on every trending topic or hot button topic. We might be different, religions and origins or whatever the case is. But if we don't stand together and get on code when it comes to the disrespect, it's going to continue to get worse. They're literally taking our sports from us. They're literally taking our bathrooms from us. So we can sit here and act divided because, oh, I don't like her because in third grade this, or, oh, she support Tory Lanez and I don't, or she, oh, would you cut it. This is the time. If this is not a wake-up call to show you that we have more power than we think, we were all collectively outraged. All of us. And see, for me, I'm a cuss, I'm gonna be raw, I'm gonna be blunt, I'm gonna tell more jokes. And I might be a bit too crass. I might be a bit too bleak for some people. There are other people like Layla Lynn. She has a more conservative way of speaking. She doesn't cuss. She doesn't tell jokes. She didn't talk about how Funky looked. I will. And so we've got different pots and people, everybody. And when you do a vibe check through Layla Lynn's comments, through my comments, through King of Reed's comments, who was being extremely politically correct and just trying to make sure he did everything right and not talk about looks and not talk about drug habits or patterns and whatever the case is. Everybody has a different approach as to how they're talking and going about it. And Kempire had a different approach, and Make It Make Sense had a different approach. All of these different groups of people, and you vibe check their comments, everybody agrees that he was wrong. So although my delivery might not be best for everybody, all of us agree that it was wrong. And all of them also agree that Fox Soul has been pretty problematic and has portrayed or getting tongue-tied, has perpetuated just negative things about Black women. Layla Lynn says she unsubscribed from Fox Soul years ago. She stopped watching TGIF years ago. King of Reed said the same thing. I just so happened to catch on the TGIF a little bit late. So I'm still here because I only jumped aboard 1.5 years or 2 years ago or something like that. But I'm at the point where I'm pulling my support too. So not only has the weight come down on Funky Dineva and Al Reynolds, the weight has also come down on Fox Soul and TGIF. And people are collectively talking about how they've unsubscribed, pulling their support. They're not doing it anymore. And we rallied up all of that power in a matter of 1.5 days to get a member of the LGBT community to apologize to heterosexual women. What? Is that not impressive to you? Funky done lost a couple thousand subscribers. Hopefully it's just getting started. But somebody's got to feel the effects of this. And the only reason Funky apologized is because it was connected to Fox Soul. He said, I don't feel like what I said was bad. Then called her a princess. He's definitely trying to add some icing on top of a shit cake. Had Funky said this on his own channel, independent of Fox Soul, he wouldn't have apologized for a damn thing at all. He's unapologetic about disrespecting us. He is not your ally. He is not your friend. So if y'all don't realize the power that we have by now, I don't know what's going to wake you up. I'm unsubscribed. I'm not subscribed. I unsubscribed for Funky's channel. So you see all these people where we have to keep spreading them. They even started a petition. They started a petition against Funky Dineva. And so what I'll do, I'll drop the petition in the chat right now. They started a petition to get him removed from Fox Soul. So there's the petition. I'll share it with you. We've been too lenient. I hear some people saying, oh, does it call for his cancellation? I don't know if it weren't. We have been far too lenient, far too understanding. This is not giving somebody a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth chance. This is literally giving him his 289th chance. How many times do you have to be slapped in the face to realize it's going to happen again? How many times? I've been unsubbed. I never subbed. We're tired. Like, how many times does it take? So, I'm just passing the information on. We have to realize what our power is and take our power back. If we forgot that we had it, I know sometimes we feel defeated. I know sometimes it's a lot going on. Roe versus Wade definitely made us feel like, damn. And along with everything else in the academics and the fresh and fits and the, and all the other red pill folks. It can make you feel really down at times, but there is some power that we have, okay? And trust and believe, there are some men watching who are saying, like, I had a guy call in yesterday. I had plenty of guys commenting between Twitter and here. There are men watching who are, believe it or not, fed up about this, that are willing to help. But my thing about it is, I think it's easy to target women when you hate yourself and when you just want to argue with beings that you've always tried to emulate. If there were men standing next to all of the women that Funky attacks at all times, he wouldn't be doing that. I heard him say the other day about the kid that was kicking a seat. I would have bucked up against the mama because I'm a man and she wouldn't do nothing to me. I would have bucked up against her because she ain't going to do nothing to me because I'm a man, because that kid shouldn't be kicking my seat. Now, if the dad was sitting right there next to her, would you have done all that? And now I get it. It was based on a fake video, but that's how he really felt. And that's truly what he would have done. That's you flaunting. Yeah, he literally said, I'm a man. I would have bucked up against her because she ain't going to do nothing to me because I'm a man. Because he shouldn't be. Now, don't get me wrong. Should a badass kid be kicking your seat? No. But does that warrant you to buck up on a woman? Because when you say you're going to buck up on a woman, in my mind, I'm envisioning you standing over her. What you going to do? Get your son all up in her face. Like when you say I'm going to buck up against a woman and she ain't going to do shit, that's crazy to me that you would even boldly say that out your mouth. But he just subconsciously, this stuff just slips. That wasn't even him trying to take a dig. That's him really telling you what he would have done. He knows how to target women who look like they're alone. Had a man been there, he wouldn't have had that energy. He don't want to get banged in his face and them teeth that he went and bought from Dr. Heavenly. He wouldn't have done that. It's been well over 10 years he's been doing this. So I guess, this was the straw that broke the camel's back. I see a lot of people asking, why did it take for it to be Chloe? Is it colorism? Oh, is it because she light skinned? Why y'all mad now? He been doing this. Like, abuse and fucked up treatment is fucked up treatment. And sometimes there's always a last straw. Imagine somebody getting banged in the face or verbally abused every day. And one day they finally had enough and they say, you know what? I'm done. I'm done accepting this. I'm walking away. I'm doing something about this. I'm going to HR. I'm quitting. I'm leaving. Whatever the case is, everybody gets fed up. This is the last straw. So stop acting. Chloe ain't special. Why y'all wasn't mad at? We've always, well, the collective. I'm new to Funky, but I've been clocking shit, and I'm like, I was thinking I was being sensitive for a while, but for all the other women, they're like, no, like this isn't new. We've been upset, and then you can go. It's well documented. You've got YouTube videos from 7, 8, 5 years ago, articles written up, and all type. People have been tired and fed up with his mess. The problem is he has too many mammies supporting him and people and networks that are willing to continue to pay him to do this shit. So he hasn't been successfully canceled. And therefore the complaints and the outcries are falling on deaf ears. Is Chloe better than anyone else per se? No, nobody's better than anybody else. Nobody but Blue Eye. It's like, no, nobody's better than anybody else. Hello? It's just that if you keep supporting the problem, if there's still a huge flock or a herd of people still supporting the problematic entity, then what's going to stop it? What's going to stop it? I mean, hell, if you see Krishan and Blueface are still being rewarded for that type of behavior because there's still a following for that type of mess, that helps you understand the reality of the power in the numbers. There are not enough people pulling out. See, people can outcry and say that it's a mess, it's a mess, it's a mess all they want to. But if people aren't really going to hit them in their pockets and make sure their numbers are negatively affected, then it's going to continue. It's going to continue. Hello? So, straight men do it too. Straight men are misogynistic as well. All right. But the misogyny it's on all fronts. All right. It just appears in different ways. We need to be rejecting it. We need to be speaking up and out about all forms of misogyny. And some of us do. I know I use my platform to speak up and out about it, but I'm just one person. And we ran amok about Kevin Samuel. But at some point, you kind of got to find the balance with it, because with the Kevin Samuels thing, it was the more women were making videos about how wrong what he was doing, it was kind of like, it was promoting him and boosting him up in the algorithm in some type of way. So it's like, yes, make videos, use your platform, but you got to find other ways to go behind the scenes like with the Fresh and Fit thing, to really get them deplatformed or demonetized and really make sure they're affected. Because just video after video after video every day, like some people, like the whole channel was about Kevin Samuels, and it's just like, you're really just promoting him at this point. It's just kind of helping him. The algorithm is like, oh, okay. So, but we did run amok on this platform calling Kevin Samuels and all of his Kitten Hill minions out about the hatred that he spread and how he was able to monetize that hate, because degrading Black women, it's popular and it's profitable. It is. Degrading Black women is popular and it's profitable. If you don't remember, Kevin Samuels started out his channel trying to give men advice and telling them about themselves so that they can improve themselves. A channel where you hold men accountable and you help them improve. That was not profitable. But as soon as he started bashing Black women, it became profitable. So, you know, that's that. So we need to know how to recognize misogyny and deprogram ourselves from thinking that because a man is feminine or he identifies as anything other than heterosexual, that it's okay for him to disrespect you or other Black women. This has become far too normalized. I want to see some of these men go at some of these men. Another thing that I wanted to touch on was Funky Dineva called Halle Bailey called her promiscuous. Promiscuous? Funky is far too educated to be. And this is how I know he was just throwing words around as vitriol to make her seem like something that she wasn't in the public. She never tried to be gangster in that video. Promiscuous means you actively sleep with a hell of a lot of people. And that's different from being sexy. She's not promiscuous, because who do we know? What evidence do we have that she's promiscuous? We don't even know who one of her sexual partners is. Now, Chloe did an interview one time and she says she doesn't have that much sexual experience, which sounds like she maybe has only had one sex partner. But we don't even know who the hell that was or is, or whatever the case is. Promiscuous means you are actively sleeping. You sleep with a lot of different people. What gives you the right to sit there and call her promiscuous when really, in all honesty, it's you that's the hoe? Sleeping with rich white men, sleeping with women's husbands, talking about you lost your virginity in the park when you was 14 by this real old man, sleeping with 2 different men a night, the different diseases you talk about you had and how whatever it is and how you needed some antibiotics. You're the promiscuous one. See, it's the projection for me. It's the projection for me. That's what it is. And I just didn't like him throwing around. And then he doubles down. And during the apology, he's like, I don't think wrong what I said. I think it's disingenuous. I think the promiscuous, like, she's not promiscuous. Sexy, showing her clothes, finding herself. Absolutely. Absolutely. In case some of y'all didn't know, some people might get the word promiscuous caught up with dressing sexy and promiscuous are 2 totally different things. Promiscuous, having or categorized. I'm sorry, Lord have mercy. By many sexual relationships, lots of sexual relationships. Chloe ain't promiscuous, it's you. Chloe ain't ugly. It's you. It's you. There was just so much that went on in that bit between Chloe and Halle. It wasn't even funny. I really didn't appreciate that at all.
Out of pocket for that shit. Way out of pocket. What do you gain from that?
So, and again, the fact that, you know, you look on the Fox Soul images and things of that nature, it's Miss Funky Dineva. Miss Funky Dineva. But you talk all this mess about Mrs. Here's another thing that I want to say. I was watching a video earlier today And while I'm glad that this person made this video, because what I'm really enjoying the fact that now, while I may not agree with every point that everybody makes in their video, all right, but heterosexual women have been calling out the misogyny from all sides, but specifically the past. It seems that some of the misogyny coming from inside of the LGBT community, we've been calling it out because it seems as though they get a pass, right? They get a pass to say and do whatever. And we call it out, and it's like they gaslight us the same way a white supremacist will gaslight a black person saying racism is racism. I don't see color, blah, 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 right? I explained that before. I've explained that time and time again. You'll sit up and you'll tell a white supremacist, that's racist. Racism is still alive. This is discriminatory. No, it's not. You're just imagining things. I don't see color, whatever the case is. And it's really just so that they can maintain control. And they know damn well racism is still here and alive and well, but they're going to tell you it's not, right? And it's just because it's this level of power that they want to maintain. Same thing when it comes to misogyny and misogynoir. And so women have been calling this out for the longest time. We've been calling. And can y'all please make sure y'all hit the thumbs up button? It's 700 people here. Come on now. Come on. Hey, thanks for letting me keep you connected and in the know with what's happening in the Black world. Don't forget to smash on that like button for support and for more Black news. So, when people are gaslighting you to maintain power, they're going to make you feel like you're crazy. They're going to make it seem like you're seeing things and you're delusional, and the oppressive, abusive nature of what you're describing, it doesn't exist. Racism doesn't exist. Oh, no. Police brutality. Oh, no. They should have just complied, whatever the case was. And we've been calling this out about the misogyny coming from men inside the LGBT community for quite some time now, right? But we get argued down and told, you don't know the true definition of this word. This shouldn't be a slur to you. Whatever the case is, a slur is determined by a group of people when they come together, and it's basically kind of like majority rules. Spaz became a slur sometime, was it earlier this year or last year? We don't see it as a slur because that wasn't the original definition. That's not how we were using it in its context. However, there were people who began to feel like that was a slur, The list goes on and on. When I see that there have been men who are a part of the LGBT community making videos calling Funky Dineva out for how wrong this was, it validates what we've been saying. Although I don't agree with all of their talking points, I don't have to nitpick the talking points and say I don't agree. I'm just grateful that the video was made, because again, the more buckets and different audiences and groups of different people that, again, because when you do the vibe check and all of these comments, everybody calling them out, 99% of the comments are like, yeah, that was wrong. That was foul. He didn't have to do that. You'll catch some of I stand with Funky. Like, they might as well just say Funky for president. Shit. And they putting the fist in their hundreds. Like, salute Funky for putting Chloe in her place and being entitled to Halle's womb. I mean, that's what they might as well do, right? But as many buckets as possible as we can get this message out in front of, there are several different audiences waking up, not just the Funky, but the Fox Soul and TGIF in general. It validates the things that we have been saying as women, and I'm just grateful for the landscape, the bigger picture. Like, I don't have to get down and nitpick or publicly call out what I don't agree with about some videos, but I will tell you one thing. That I heard someone say earlier. They were like, I want to speak from a place of what he did wrong and what he's doing wrong to women, rather than talk about his looks. Everybody wants to call him ugly, and I don't want to call him ugly. I want to talk about, don't call him ugly because da 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 da. And my whole thing is this. Everyone's approach to this is going to be different. And you've got to accept that. And in the words of Funky Dineva himself, you can't disrespect somebody and tell them how to respond. At the end of the day, Funky Dineva verbally attacked Chloe Bailey. He attacked her, and it was unprovoked. She ain't do a damn thing to him. ain't met them ever. They ain't never been in the same room together before. And everybody's approach and everybody's response to an attack or an abuse, a verbal punch, a physical punch, or whatever the case is, it's going to be different. Some people may take disrespect to their face, albeit verbal or physical, and take that to their face. And they may walk away and be the bigger person and find a different way to solve it. They might call the police. They might go to the news station. Or they might turn around and hit your ass back with the same shit you hit them with, right? You hit me in the face, I'm going to hit you back in the face. You call me some fucked up shit, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to call you that fucked up shit too. It's eye for an eye when it comes to me, for the most part. Depends on who got more to lose, you or me. Who got more to gain, you or me. So everybody's approach is going to be different. And I appreciate each and every different approach. And so calling him ugly, right, and pointing out how unattractive he is and how he truly doesn't have any room to talk shit about anybody is the equivalent of a broke person calling another broke person broke. And you overhearing a conversation and you cool with the both of them. Or a homeless person calling another homeless person homeless. First thing you're going to say is, wait a minute, you ain't got no room to talk because you broke too. Or you homeless too. The first thing you're going to say is you don't have no room to talk. How are you talking about this person's financial situation when yours is fucked? How are you talking about this person's broken marriage and they cheating husband when your husband and your marriage and your household is broken as well? That's always going to be the starting point. Every approach is going to be different. Again, some people may want to be hyper politically correct when it comes to this. Other people aren't. Other people aren't. Period. And especially when it comes to a man versus a woman, everybody's not going to respond the same way. And again, this is a man who has literally been verbally attacking Black women for over a decade. It's about time somebody gave him a dose of his own goddamn medicine and en masse. And that is what is happening here. And apparently it's worked. It's worked. And it worked quickly. Everybody's got a different approach. And we just need to appreciate the fact that we have different aces in different places. For the conservative people who don't want jokes, who don't want insults, and they just want the, oh, he shouldn't have done this because let's just talk about, nah, I'm going to throw a little bit of humor in there. I'm going to throw some facts in there. I'm going to throw some experience in there. I'm going to tell him why he don't know what the hell he talking about and why he should say the fuck out of women's business. And I'm going to say it like that. And there's some people who are going to resonate and they're going to get it like that. Other people might want the newscaster. Funky Dineva messes up again. In a nasty slip of the tongue, he disrespected the wrong woman. Everybody has a different delivery and a different style and a way of coming down on it. Either way, collectively, all of our different approaches, it's working. It's effective. It's effective. And I think that we just need to respect that everybody is doing it their own way. And we've gotten this message out to the masses. People who I never thought would speak on controversial topics like this. People who I never thought, people who I've never even seen come out and speak about people within their own communities, right? There are some people who are part of the LGBT community. They act like they do not see when some of their other peers and counterparts who are part of the LGBT community, they act like they don't see when they're in heat or when they're wrong, and they skip the story, although the story aligns directly with their brand, and they skip it because they kind of, they don't want to hurt their own community, so they kind of like skip over it because they don't want to hold them accountable. Some of these same people I have seen making videos about this, and I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I've been a part of conversations behind the scenes where people are like, yeah, I can't really get with such and such, because whenever it's somebody that's a part of their own community, they act like they can't hold them accountable, but they hold everybody else to a certain standard that's not in the community accountable. And I don't understand why you can't keep the same energy regardless of whether somebody identifies as heterosexual or not. So either way, this message is getting out to a lot of different people. And we need to be grateful for that. There's so many different pockets of people that this message is being spread to. And everybody speaks and communicates in their own different way. And everybody accepts or tolerates or watches different video. And so it's a good thing at the end of the day. Come on now. Come on now. Let's stop playing these games. And it's not just Funky getting the heat. It's not just Funky getting the heat. Okay. So, When I hear don't call him ugly, don't tell me how to respond. Don't. You know, I did a lot of dragging the first day. I did a decent amount of dragging yesterday. I did less dragging today, and I really stuck to my Venn diagram of ain't nobody picking on Funky. I'm trying to wake up my community of women, specifically Black women, and the disrespect that they're letting slide because they're disarmed when they're around a feminine man, thinking that, oh, there's no misogyny coming from here. Just be the heterosexual niggas that I'm tired of, or whatever the case is. No, it's coming from everywhere. And so I give smoke to misogynists. I don't give a hell what their sexual identity was. I've given plenty of smoke to Kevin Samuels. Go back and look. Go back and look. I wouldn't give him too much attention, but I'm giving Kevin at least 7 videos of giving him smoke because it was pathetic, the things that he was saying and the shit he was spewing. Pathetic. Ridiculous. And then you catch some of his supporters calling into my stream talking about Kevin Samuels taught me a lot. Why don't you like him? And I'm like, well, what did Kevin teach you? He taught me how to always have one good suit and to always have some clean shoes and how to make my bed in the morning. I said, okay. I said, okay.
Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to grow up. Grow up. Tired of telling y'all to grow up. Y'all need to stop it. I'm tired of it, y'all. You ain't finna work me out.
I remember that day that guy called in. I will never forget. I won't, because I remember his screen name too, but I won't do that to him. So, you know, I keep the same energy. So if you're new here and you don't understand, and because I'm being really direct and telling these mammy ass Black women that misogyny can come from anywhere, any XY chromosome, no matter how they identify, then oh well, I don't give a damn. Don't act like I'm writing you off. You keep making different accounts, copying and pasting the same. And when I say I don't give a damn, it's not that I don't give a damn about harm. It's that you're refusing to comprehend what I'm saying. And I'm wasting my time repeating the same thing over and over. Some men, some, not all. How many times did I say some, not all in this video? And I guarantee you bet money. I bet anybody in the audience right now, $50. I'm going to wake up tomorrow to comment says, don't lump us all together. It's not, I'm not going to keep wasting my breath saying some, not all, when y'all are determined not to hear it. Y'all are determined to stick with the victimhood of homophobic and harm towards and it's not. I'm tired of mincing my words for some people who either some of them are determined to disrespect me. And did Funky mince his words when he spewed all that shit off effortlessly about Chloe and Halle? Did he mince his words? That shit came out like butter. And I'm tired of sitting here. Let me think of the right word. It just, I'm not doing it. I'm either doing that or I'm repeating myself, and it is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. I've said umpteen times, it is not all of y'all. I'm friends with some of y'all in real life. So if I truly felt that it was all of y'all, I wouldn't be friends with some of you. And some of y'all are my biggest supporters. And some of you are down in the comments agreeing about the misogyny. Got some lesbians. I pinned that with the first video I made about Funky. The comment pinned to the top is a woman she said, I'm a lesbian and I agree. These men are misogynistic within the LGBT. Some of these men are misogynistic within the community. And then you got some men who are like, yeah, I see it too. I'm not going to keep repeating myself and beating a dead horse because this is coddling. This is coddling. I'm here to get out a message, not repeat myself and waste words on people who are determined to misunderstand. Y'all are determined to misunderstand because that's all you have to stand on. Y'all are trying to derail the conversation and deflect from the main point being made. Your homie that you're in community with, you're afraid to stand up and call him out. There are far more women calling Funky out than men who are in the LGBT community. But I'm grateful for the ones who have. And maybe we can, even out the scale and balance it at some point. But we're not coddling y'all asses no more. We're getting tired, and we're reaching a point where we have other things to do. You know how I've heard T.S. Madison and Funky both say, when we don't want to be called cis as women, they're like, whatever. We got more important shit to worry about than y'all not wanting to be called cis. Cis means this, and y'all are cis, whatever. And I'm not trying to be dismissive in that case. I'm really showing you how many times I've actually explained that it's some, not all. I'm not saying I refuse to say some. I'm not saying, no, it's all of you. I'm literally saying I've said umpteen times that it's not all of you. And y'all are determined. I guarantee you there'll be comments like that under here this morning when I wake up. It's a mess. It's a mess. Let me see what y'all are saying. Right, semantics. They trying to say he didn't call her promiscuous? Okay. There's some people in the chat saying that he didn't call her promiscuous. Is that what's going on? All right.
Welcome, Funky Dineva. What's up, Q? Hi.
Hi. So listen, y'all, while I got the people on the line, y'all know how this goes, right? When you work somewhere and something controversial happens, the company comes out and makes a statement, or the person that works for the company comes out and makes a statement. And I always sit on this very platform and ain't nobody believing in this prefabricated statement that this person read and it's phony. And with that being said, I'm not going to give y'all one, right? I did get the phone call. I did get the email. We think that you should provide an apology and show some remorse. And I didn't want to get up here and just say some regurgitated stuff that I was encouraged to say, because y'all are not going to believe it anyway, and it wouldn't be believable, especially considering the fact that I said what I said with my whole chest. I 100% stand 10 toes down on the fact that I think Chloe Bailey is inauthentic when it comes to her as an artist. I think that the sexual image that she gives sometimes is unbelievable. And I think that in her defending her sister, the whole, clapping back, and I just thought it was inauthentic. I do. But I also recognize that that's probably where my commentary should have started and stopped. I don't have my head too far up my own ass or so far in my own ego that I can't recognize the fact that I did cross the line when I started talking about her looks. That was below the belt. It was unnecessary, and it was non-germane to the story at hand. And for that, I do apologize. So again, I apologize for going below the belt when referencing Chloe Bailey's looks. They had nothing to do with the story at hand. And
back to my own video.
Neither one of them do, and I love that. Q, what do you think about this? Q?
Don't play with you, Q.
This story, before I was indifferent about Chloe Bailey, and I know this story is about Haley, I can officially say I don't like her. Chloe Bailey is so goddamn lame to me. First of all, girl, you are Miss Preppy Ashley from the suburbs. Then you.
Let's do this real quick before he go on his complete tangent.
And y'all better keep my sister's name out your mouth. Thank you.
She said it very
Amen.
kindly,
Hallelujah.
right?
You got to get me riled the hell up. Anyways, love you. No. Like, what the heck? Period. Wonder if the nails will give anything away about what my outfit is tonight. And y'all better keep my sister's name out your mouth. Thank you. Amen. Hallelujah. You got to get me riled the hell up. Anyways, love you. No. Like, what the heck? Period. Wonder.
My whole thing is this. Funky went on to describe Chloe's demeanor here as she's trying to be gangster. Nothing about that sounded gangster. And you don't have to be gangster or make it seem like you live out Skid Row or wherever the case is in order to take up for a sibling. You don't have, this didn't come off as gangster. It came off as somebody that's protective, and protective doesn't equal gangster. It's just, hey, keep my sister name out your mouth. She sounded sweet as a button. She said shit, and she also said amen, hallelujah, right? Let's get back into Funky and his hypocrisy and bullcrap, right?
This story, before I was indifferent about Chloe Bailey, and I know this story is about Haley, I can officially say I don't like her. Chloe Bailey is so goddamn lame to me. First of all, girl, you were Miss Preppy Ashley from the suburbs. Then you came out, you was being all promiscuous and shit, and then now you trying to be a gangster.
So who said that it wasn't about promiscuity? Who said that he didn't say the word promiscuous? Because I could have sworn that that's what I just heard. No such thing as acting promiscuous. It's either being sexy, being in touch with your sexuality, or trying to find it. Lord knows when I was her age and I hadn't, put on my little bit of grown woman weight. Now, of course, I wasn't wearing risky things like her, but I was wearing my short skirts and my stomach was always out because it was flat as hell. So, a woman of her age, while you got it, I say do it. Claudia's lucky because she 50 and she's I don't. Well, if you got it, you got it, right? He don't have to think it's believable, but you're a man. Stay out of our business and how we think we sexy and how we dress. I see his outfits. They tacky as shit. In addition to him being an ugly ass person on the inside and out. So you can't act promiscuous, especially if, now I could see if she had hella scandals and it seemed like, oh, she got a different boyfriend every week. And even if it was down to, the only thing that we thought this one time was that she was with Gunna, and it was because it was a song that they was doing. You don't see her up on different men's arms all the time. That would be acting promiscuous to me. You always picture with a different nigga. You always in a different nigga face. Or whatever the case is. How can you act like you have a lot of sex partners? No. If she dresses sexy and she reveals too much of her body and she just comes off a bit too sexual for you, then say that. Your vocabulary is far more vast for you to sit up here and throw promiscuous and gangster on her. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because when you think about promiscuous and gangster, who do you think about? There are people who are actually promiscuous and believably both and live that life. Glorilla, Asian the Brat, Sexy Red, Sukiana. These are women who will literally go, Jocelyn. These are women who are literally gangster and promiscuous. And not to say that they were, gangster for a woman would just be reckless and willing to hit people. You willing to go to jail for the night. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to have that thing on you to be gangster as a woman. So for you to blatantly miscategorize her in this sense and call her promiscuous, and when you call a woman a hoe, and promiscuous is a glorified way of calling somebody a hoe. Let's talk about it. And as a woman, it's more difficult to scrub a rumor or an image like that off of you, even if it's not true. Far more difficult than a man. Because I keep bringing up, Funky and his sexcapades and all that he brought up and all the nastiness. And it kind of, people are like, ill, but they're not like, oh my gosh, he's a hoe. He sleeps with a lot of people. He's promiscuous. But if people were truly to believe that it was Chloe that was promiscuous, do you know that will follow her until she was 78? Don't do that. And then y'all sit up here and lied and act like Halle lied to y'all and told y'all that she wasn't pregnant. She posted a picture. God damn. She's 23 years old. She can't post a goddamn picture of a flat stomach on some behind the scenes when she was filming her very first music video, which was beautiful, which was uplifting, about appreciating your features and your hair as a Black woman. Are you kidding me? Y'all sat up here and blatantly lied in order to spread y'all hate and to be entitled to somebody's uterus and ovaries. That is sick. It's sick. And I'm clocking every little microaggression. There's an undertone, there's a nuance here. You're twisting a series of 4 different details to paint the narrative that you want to paint about girls that ain't done nothing, young women who ain't done a damn thing to you. And I could see if these were women that you wanted and they rejected you, or they would never give you the time of day and you felt some type of way, but neither one of y'all ain't her type and she ain't y'all's type. So I just don't understand this obsession and this entitlement over what the hell they got going on, and you wanting a pregnancy test or expecting her to stay the hell in the house. It's crazy to me.
First of all, girl, you were Miss Preppy Ashley from the suburbs. Then you came out, you was being all promiscuous and shit. And then now you trying to be a gangster. None of it is fucking believable, girl. None of it is believable. And I'm probably gonna catch a lot of backlash for this. And without that makeup, she ain't cute. She should have never showed up on that camera with that fat ass face without no makeup. She ain't cute. You're not believable. You're so goddamn inauthentic. That's why you're shit.
She ain't cute. She's promiscuous, aka a hoe, a glorified hoe. She ain't cute. Her face is fat. She's a hoe. Her music ain't selling. You trying to be a gangster, in which she wasn't. I mean, like, none of this makes sense. What happened to being decent and respecting women? Now, maybe, listen, I did not follow Funky when he was doing all of that housewives stuff and the way he might have used to talk about them, and they thought it was funny banter and it was okay. I don't know if this is how he typically talks, right? But I do know he like went to some parties and stuff like that. But this is unacceptable for young women who are good girls, who aren't out here doing this. They aren't out there. They're not in reality TV. Not that it would make it any better if they were in reality TV, but this is unacceptable. He needs to take a step back and he needs to go heal. And you need to stop trying to interrupt the show. What you want to say, hi? He needs to take a step back. It's too many men in women's business nowadays. It's too much. It's too much. And women's business is really it's vague and it covers a lot, but specifically my uterus, my stomach, my pregnancy. I shouldn't have to come out and give you shit, and you shouldn't be demanding that I stay in the house and not work and not do my job and everything else. That doesn't make sense.
It ain't selling. All right. That's number one. Number two, I don't like people playing in our face, right? The girl is clearly pregnant. She's pregnant. All right.
You know what's interesting about Q not wanting people to play in his face is he played in ours. That apology was bullshit. Chloe ain't no damn princess to him. He explained somebody. He explained and portrayed Chloe as a fucking hoe ass gutter rat that's trying to be something that she's not, that's trying to be a gangster and trying to do all of this. He played in our faces with that apology, and he's telling us he don't like people playing in his face. He got so amped up, added lies and sauce on top of his unprovoked animosity towards this girl that they never did a damn thing towards him. And he don't like nobody playing in his face, and he played in ours. Both him and Al. Al said, it's great. Al started off, it's great that she's going along this journey. If you know, she can share. I'm glad that her sister took up for her. That's great. And if she's pregnant, that's great. I'm happy for her. And then he comes in with all this vitriol and I don't like her and she lame as hell and she's this. And then here come Al. Yeah, Halle lied to our faces. And he just said all this sweet shit about her. You gonna tell a bold-faced lie and show me a picture saying you're not pregnant. She never said she wasn't. She never said she was. She never said she wasn't. Make it make sense.
I analyzed that video. It's one thing to have the big piece on. She was waddling, and then when she went to put her arm around the girl, the dress draped over the stomach. You could visibly see the damn bump, all right? She didn't shut down shit showing these old ass videos. If she wanted to shut something down, she'd have stayed her ass the hell home, all right? That's number one. Number two, that video, that old ass B-roll, stop playing in our damn face. And if you really wanted to shut shit down, all
I got to pause it for a second, baby. Baby, I got to pause it for a second. And I came on here with no makeup. Look, there's a certain amount of relatability, right? Chloe Bailey is so unproblematic. There's so many fronts that this was just, it was disgusting and it was nasty on. But you can tell Funky feels entitled. And it's kind of like you're talking to a wall if you talk to him. So just describing to the masses some of these problematic behaviors is it. And I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to go ahead and say this. Nessa girl, pick up the phone. Funky has been open. Ain't nobody dug into his past because it's not my business, but he's shared it. At one point, Tokyo Tony came up on TGIF. And Funky shared how Tokyo Tony reminds him of his mother because his mother was just always kind of erratic. Tokyo Tony reminded him of his mother, and he said that it was almost as if she needed chaos. Now, mind you, his mother has since went on to be with the ancestors. Funky said, and I'm paraphrasing, right? And I'm literally using it. I'm paraphrasing, right? So he says that, whenever things would kind of get calm, she would just like cause chaos. Like it was like she needed chaos in order to be okay. She needed chaos. She needed drama. And I'm starting to feel like, based on the way that he contradicts himself out and out, I'm starting to feel like he's turning into his mother. He needs to be chaos, and he's been rewarded for this problematic, I don't give a damn behavior towards and about Black women. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but that's what it's coming off like. It's coming off as, and he grew up in poverty and things of that nature. There are some people that you just can't put a muzzle on and they just going to say whatever out their mouth. And if you've ever been in the hood or been exposed to people from the hood, like I'm here in Baltimore, I've been in Baltimore my whole life, right? Like you remember the woman, ain't nobody got time for that. People who come from a certain background or a certain hood, they going to say whatever out their mouth. And sometimes it's going to be funny and other times it's just going to be a bit too much. And but there's no stopping them from saying that, right? There's no stopping them from saying it. They're going to go overboard, but they don't give a damn because they're just there. And that's what this is giving. This is giving a person that's been able to accumulate a bit of money. It's given unhealed, although he makes sense 40% of the time, and he gives answers that make sense and gives commentary that makes sense 40% of the time, at least on Fox. So it's giving unhealed. It's giving, I have a vast vocabulary. I can articulate things. I got my degree from the university. I forget what it is, Florida, Miami, whatever the case is. And I don't care how vast your vocabulary is. If you're nasty and unhealed and it's evident, and literally 70+% of YouTube is saying that you disrespect Black women through and through, and it's been more than 10 years. Everybody's not, the same way he said about Lizzo, same with this one thing he be saying, everybody's not lying on you. All these people cannot possibly be lying on you. Everybody is saying that you are vile towards Black women. You disrespect Black women. And I said it coming out the gate. See, I haven't been following you for no 10 years. I've only seen what I've seen for you 2 years. And then not only that, I haven't really been exposed to your YouTube channel like that. I was only exposed to you on Fox Soul. But for everybody else that has been watching you for 10 or so years, or 6 and 7 and 8 years, they say that you have always disrespected Black women. Everybody cannot be lying on you, to use your own words on you. Everybody's not lying on you. There's some truth to this. You might be unwilling to look in the mirror. You might refuse to admit that you've done anything wrong. But I hope, and I hate to say this, because I really feel that it's Funky and Al who are really wrong here. I hope that TGIF is a sinking ship. I hope that it is a sinking ship. I pray that it is a sinking ship. I do. And that sucks, because I truly did fall in love with y'all. I really did fall in love with that show before I knew that Funky was as problematic as he was. I fell in love with that show. There was great chemistry, especially I fell in love with it when it was a Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing. Then it became a, what was it? Wednesday, Friday thing. And now it's 5 days a week, and it's just went to hell. I hope it's a sinking ship. And may whoever hops off to get the better opportunities, may they get the better opportunities. But this needs to end. This needs to end. It really does. Truly. Everybody cannot be lying on you, Funky Dineva. Q. Miss Funky Dineva, since you want to be called me. No. You hate Black women, and I don't know if it stems from your mommy issues or what. I don't know if you get therapy or if you go to therapy or whatever the case is, but it's not cool. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. And let me tell you something. I'm in community with women. We talk behind the scenes. We're not letting this go. We're going to keep making video. We're going to keep making noise. As uncomfortable as we made this network, and they made you apologize, we on your neck. See, I feel like when y'all had to apologize to a sorority, it's like, okay, you know, because Q and Al are familiar with sororities, they know this, so they didn't really mind apologizing to a sorority. But you had to apologize to heterosexual women, and that made y'all uncomfortable, and I could see it all over your face. No. No. Everybody not lying on you. So let me show Al's face during the take a look at this. Al's face during the apology. Just live it. Just live it. And Funky was just trying to get it over with. He was like, okay, and I understand. What's next? It was cringy. It was weird. It was weird. Truly weird. Okay. So I want to know who was it? Someone said that's not the real Claudia. That is the real Claudia. She was in the, oh God. See, you know, some of y'all, Claudia was in the chat yesterday, and I actually got confirmation I screen recorded it today. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Is JH a troll? Mods, can you watch JH and scroll up and see what's going on? The real Claudia would have been muted their ass. She just keep trying to keep it professional because she. What you mean not the real Claudia? You mean the Claudia in the chat, or are you talking about the Claudia on the screen? What are you talking about? JH, if you be in the agent of chaos, baby, it's too late. Please don't. What's going on? It's a little late. I'm running out of patience. Hold on, let me see. No. That's not what I meant. Okay. All right. All right. Like I said, I said I'm running out of patience. That's okay. I'm glad you gave me some clarity. All right. I'm about to say that is just totally the real clarity. I know it do be people making troll accounts and stuff like that. Exactly. Yeah, I did. That's what I was about to say. Like that is totally on the show. Okay. Okay. So yeah, Claudia Jordan is in the chat. She is very relatable, y'all. She is very relatable. And I couldn't imagine. I if I was Claudia, I would. She's handling it way better or different than I would. I would feel like I was between a rock and a hard place if I was her, to be honest, to try to maintain the level of professionalism and not have a public fallout, which is a big spectacle, and you still want to, keep up work in the industry and things of that nature. Like that is, you have to keep all those things in mind. So for people thinking that she should have just went ham and cut them off and yelled and da-da-da, I'm like, I see some people saying Claudia could have done more. And I'm like, I mean, like, I hear you and I'm not like making excuses, but when you're a part of a cast on a network, it's not the same as being on a panel on YouTube where you can really just do whatever. Like there are different things. Not only are there like rules and ramifications with the network, you've got other networks watching, and whenever you want to branch out and do other things, they are looking at what has happened in your previous situations. And, if you're a liability, if you're a hothead, if you make a worse situation worser, I know that's not a word, right? But, if you're able to remain neutral in the midst of adversity, or well, not neutral, right? But to not necessarily be inflammatory in the midst of adversity. So it's a line that you have to walk, and there's nothing black or white about it. There is nothing black or white about it. It's totally a gray area, and that can be tricky to navigate because there is no rule book on that. There is no rule book on that. So yeah, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. And because baby, the disrespect that came from them. Got you. You called me homophobic. That's all right. That's all right. Tired ass insult, but it's cool. So yeah, someone said bring back cocktails with queens. See, the thing about this point here is when you was making a point about exposing down low men. Oh, he immediately called you homophobic. Oh, he, not you. Okay. Gotcha. I'm saying we just getting into these comments. What do you have to say in the comments? If you want me to respond to your comment, get your type your what are your thoughts that you hot button comments or questions that you want me to respond to? Type really fast in the chat. I'll respond to some comments and try and see if I have any last remarks. But if there's anything that maybe I didn't touch on, I feel like I touched on so much. But if there's anything that you really want me to respond to, please type it in the chat as fast as you can. Y'all in this chat telling Claudia she sludge. Jeopardize her job at 2gether queens who were already putting their feet in their mouths with no help. Hello. Like they were already dead wrong. And look who had to apologize. Them. She ain't have to apologize. They did. And then when you're the host of a show, it's different. It's not like I don't know if everybody doesn't understand the dynamics of working for a network, working for a corporation, having to get along with people and having differences behind the scenes. I have radio background. I've worked in radio. There have been people who are really just like real life, like, and radio is different. So you can make all the faces you want to. You can be like, but still sound how you need to sound on the radio and still get along and be copacetic for the airways, but still feel how you feel and you like, I ain't, and really not be feeling that person, but you still have to come together and make that show work because it's your job. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than being at work with the coworker that you don't like. What do you just gonna cuss them out? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people have like, this is still a job. Like, it might look like just fun and people just sitting up here talking to y'all, but you can't just go to work and cuss out the coworker that you don't get along with or that you don't agree with at work, can you? Let alone these people are on camera, you know. So you still have to. Y'all, you mean to tell me nobody in this chat had to fake like they, or just stayed it cool and like, I'm here from 9 to 5 or this time to this time. I just need to make it to the time I get off, and that's it. Y'all ain't never had to just tolerate a coworker and be amicable and not really been feeling them and had your own feelings deep down on the inside. Like, hello, like, are y'all okay? It's crazy. It's crazy. It be people sitting on the sidelines, risk your liability, get fired because I want to see y'all fight. Like, I feel like she did as much as she can do, and I feel like her true feelings really show. She was visibly uncomfortable. She really didn't agree with them, and they both were coming down her throat. They were coming down her throat. Oh, go to the next door. We ain't, you know what? Better yet, let's just go ahead and play it, since y'all think y'all problematic. It's so unproblematic. You may not agree with her personality. You might not understand her personality. She's quirky, and I do see comments all around. You may not agree with her personality. You might not understand her personality.
She don't belong to us, and she don't owe us shit. I just think we're grossly down. All you had to do the next day was be like, child, y'all know y'all need to stop playing. Pregnant where? She's playing. I mean, there was just such a cheap, quick, dirty, easy way to shut it down. Mama is pregnant. And listen, the biggest concern is not her being pregnant in Disney. The biggest concern is her being pregnant from that goddamn loser. Mama, we was looking out for you, Haley. And you don't fuck around and let this nigga trap you. Because that's exactly what he did. He struck me as the type that put a baby in her on purpose. All right? And we was rooting for you. All right? Now, I hope that we live in a more progressive generation in society where it won't affect her Disney stuff. It probably will now, because you can't be right here playing a child and you a whole damn mama. But I think the Black community, and although she don't belong to us and she don't owe us shit, I just think we're grossly disappointed because we saw more for her than this damn loser that she's with.
This nigga literally says, she don't belong to us, she don't owe us shit, but then says, tell us you're pregnant, or stay in the house. Like, is there not entitlement? When you're entitled to something, you feel like you're owed something. So you're saying she don't owe us shit, but then saying, I'm entitled, tell us you're pregnant because I see that you got a little gut on you right now. So tell us you feel like you're owed. Bye.
Well, ain't much to say after that, huh, Claudia?
I mean, there is, but.
So here's my thing. He's talking about Haley and how he's disappointed and how and his assumption that Halle Bailey is pregnant. We're doing this because we care about you. We're doing this because we love you. We see more for you. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and call.
I had to say this shit.
Because that's all he's ever wanted to be his entire life. It's the envy for me. It's the hypocrisy in maintaining the secrecy of personal choices or decisions. However, we haven't gotten to that point of the clip yet. Let's go.
I don't want to talk about this about now. I
had to say this shit. It's sad. I mean, it's what we're feeling.
I mean, no, that's what you're feeling, and you're entitled to that. But I guess I take a more sensitive role, jab at this. I mean, it's her decision. We can be mad all we want, but who the fuck are we to say what we should be?
True. That's
like,
true.
Like someone can't tell you who should date, or Al or me. That's not. We would be.
So right now they're talking about Halle Bailey's alleged, rumored pregnancy.
Defensive, highly defensive. That's none of your goddamn business. And if she likes them, hey, I don't approve either. But I'm not her mother or her sister or her family. You know what I'm saying? And if she's happy, which she seems like she is, I just feel like when we talk about pregnancy, and I I just feel like we got to be real careful with that. You know what I mean? That's her business, and people have miscarriages, and with all the evilness out there, and people be wishing bad on you, I wouldn't tell you motherfuckers either. I really would not. I don't think
it's just sad though, right? Because
it's a difference between not telling us and lying, Claudia. You you can't as a talent bold-faced lie to your if that's how you run your brand, that's fine. I'm saying I don't want to support a talent. I don't want to spend my hard-earned money supporting a talent who lies to me. Or
Al, have you ever lied to the public about anything? We all have. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Ooh, stay positive. Okay, I will. You know, I had to throw a little shade. I'm Shady Boo.
So, you know, we all know we all know what that's about, right? We all know what that's about. We all know what that's about. But you know, even outside of that, Al Reynolds is a PR strategist. A PR strategist, you don't lie about your brand, just tell the public the truth. A PR strategist is never going to tell you, come out and just spill your guts to the public, right? Spill your guts to the public, and this is what's like. No, like you come up with a plan. You come up with a plan in which to either fool, deceive the public, deflect from what's really going on. That's what a PR strategist does. What I will do is I'll show y'all this. Like, Al, have you ever kept a secret from the public? Have you? Have you ever like kept a secret from the public? I'm just curious. It's just a question. It's just a question. All right. So, you know, that's that. That is that. Let's see what else is here. He's talking about, I don't want to spend my hard-earned money. What money did you give to her? Like what concert have you went to? You're not. And if anybody's talking, and see, this is the part where it gets really interesting. Al. Yeah, he did mention hard-earned money. Like, is he giving Halle money? Like what's? And I know he's not. It's a rhetorical question. I don't want to give my hard-earned money to somebody that's lying on me. Who is giving Halle that hard? Who is he? It was the lies just kept coming out of nowhere from both of them. She lied and told her she was pregnant and all this, and she's trying to be gangster, and then she's promiscuous, and she doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. And you know, we've us women, we really came together. Shout out to Layla Lynn. Shout out to Tanya TKO. Shout out to what is it? Make It Make Sense, Kim Pyre, and shout out to King of Reeds as well. Like I said, all of us have our own different individual ways of approaching this, and it worked. It's applied enough pressure. It's to the point where Essence is talking about it. Essence is making posts and things. Essence was talking about the situation, and then Essence is creating posts that is just, you know, sending, you know, Chloe and Halle some love and da. It has literally made its rounds, and I was about to say I fear, but I don't fear. But you know, Funky may have an issue finding work in Hollywood, especially doing commentary moving forward, because it's given liability, especially if these networks are going to listen to and understand what we're saying and what the pattern says, not this isolated incident, because everybody's trying to explain this isolated incident away with, oh, he has the right to have an opinion. Oh, she is ugly. Oh, her record did flop. Oh, you know, and it's not just about Chloe, it's about Halle too, but it's also about the pattern and the bigger picture here. It's about that. So if they're, you know, looking and seeing how Black women are grossly and greatly offended by him en masse, not just 10, 20, a dozen, not just 2,000 or 3,000 of us. There are so many of us that are just offended and fed up and won't be supporting anything that he does. So, you know, good thing he already got his radio gig. Good for him. But I hope that this slows him down and that he grows and that he learns from this. I doubt it. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. I'm going to go ahead and call Funky old. There's no offense to my subscribers. I had somebody say to me, hey, Jane, I called a stray because I'm old, but I'm not like Funky. And I'm like, I wasn't talking about you. I'm like, my thing is, I called him old in comparison to Chloe, right? Because he called Chloe lame. And my thing was, well, maybe she's lame because you're old. You're 40. Your personality, your interests, your thought process should not be that of a 25-year-old. And if you come up on the show with Al and Funky, with Al and Claudia and say that they're old because you're 40 and they're 50 and there's just a 10-year age gap and they're old, then she's definitely young with the 15-year age gap. He's old in comparison to the 15-year age gap here if they're old with the 10-year age gap. So it was really just me combining the shade, the joking shade that he throws at them on the show daily and combining that and calling him old. It's no shit. My literal best friend, like my best friend is 55 years old. Like, and I honestly feel like I'm old too. And believe it or not, when people disagree with me in the Instagram comment sections of the neighborhood talk or whatever, they call me old. They call me grandma because they're 22 years old and they consider, you know, me being 32 years old. They consider me to be old. I'm like, oh, I'm old. Damn. Hope you get old one day, bitch. Fucking 32. Okay. Grandma. Like, no, you're just young and dumb and you live with your fucking parents, bitch. But anyway, it's late. So this is no offense. This is no stray. I do know I do have mature followers. And that's no shade to y'all. I'm really only throwing shade at him. But I don't think that, I think that when I say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, what I'm saying is Q has been doing this for so long. And not only that, not only has he been doing it for so long, it's how he built his brand. It's how he makes his money. It's how he pays his bills. It's the baseline of his platform and his persona. I can't even say his entertainment persona because I do truly feel deep down inside that this is how he be, if not worse, probably worse, offline too. It's probably much worse offline than it is on camera. So, you know, that's what I mean. When I say, you know, you can't teach your old dog. He's been doing this for so long. He's so used to it. I don't think that there's any deprogramming him. Okay. I just don't. So that's that. They said Jane needs some sleep. I'm getting ready to get off here and get on the phone with my homegirl until I fall asleep. That's exactly what I'm about to do. So yeah, make sure you subscribe from Fox Soul. Make sure you subscribe from, make sure you unsubscribe from Fox Soul. Make sure you stop watching TGIF and just make sure you do those things. It's the least we can do. Let me drop the petition down here again. For you in the event that you want to sign it to have Funky removed from Fox Soul. Go ahead and put the petition here for you. All right. And so he said he got to go, kick him off. What did Al say? Al lied about living on Fire Island. Child. I said I never subscribed. Thank you so much, GMyAT. Appreciate you. Yeah, so make sure you unsubscribe. It is the very, very least It's the very least you can do. It doesn't cost any money. Unsubscribe, pull your support. You hit people in their pockets when you want them to hurt, right? But there's no money involved here. So the currency is your support and your subscriptions and your viewership. You have to pull those things if you want people to, and hate watching isn't going to help, right? You will find out if they slip up in the slightest bit from Twitter, the blogs, or myself. Trust me, I'm going to have eyes on the ground. I won't be watching, but I will have eyes on the ground. For example, there's 100 people in my Discord. Might designate 1 or 2 people to watch the show just to see if they slip up and say anything else that can add to the fire for us to do whatever. But everybody should. So you will definitely hear from me if there are any other issues or social media. But I'm always gonna give it to you first, because who had the first apology video and showed y'all the first apology after it went off of live and people had to wait until 12 noon? It was me. Like, I always have my finger on the pulse. Okay, so don't watch the show. Unsubscribe from Funky Dineva, unsubscribe from Fox Soul, and really put your time in and support the channels and watch the videos and leave comments of people that are actually calling them out. The more views those videos get, the more comments those videos get, the more when Funky goes to apply for another job, and make sure you add Alan to your comment too. The more Funky goes to apply to another job, and they go looking to see like what's the rapport, what were things like at his last place, and they go looking at him online and they see dozens of thousands of comments saying that he's been disrespecting Black women for well over a decade, and he's supposed to be using their microphone in the form of communications. It's going to prove how much of a liability he is as a misogynist. So there is power in what we can what we can do to make sure that we can continue to get justice and results, and make sure that these niggas, no matter what their sexual orientation is, I don't care if you like penis, I don't care if you like coochie, I don't care if you do coochie during the week and penis on the weekend, or penis during the week and coochie on the weekend, if you doing both, baby, I don't give a damn if you fuck mailboxes. If you are an XY chromosome and you're being misogynistic, we finna call you out and we finna speak up, because we made some progress today. We made some progress. It is important. It is important. We did the things. We did the things. This has been a really amazing show. I will holler at you all tomorrow. Listen, if you are chasing the bus, and even if you're late on the bus, rewind and watch it from the beginning. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on all the things that we discussed today. Make sure you comment down below. Y'all make sure y'all keep it sticky and real. Y'all know things are always sticky in Hollywood and in real life. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get me some sleep. I got a little bit tired here, but I hope that I made my point in reference to nobody's picking on the LGBT community. Misogyny comes from all over the place. And today, this video was majority, it was supposed to be about a Venn diagram. People like Kevin Samuels and academics and Fresh and Fit do it, and people like Funky Dineva do it, and Al participates in it as well. And hell, T.S. Madison does it too. Like, the list goes on and on and on and on. So just make sure you're able to clock it. Not to say you got to argue with these people, because all they're going to do is, bitch, suck my dick. Da, da, da. Well, all of them had their different ways of addressing it, right? So you don't have to argue with them. Just pull your support and see who you can email, who you can hit up, how you can, convince your other fellow sisters to really see the light if they haven't seen it already. Help spread the message and make sure that they understand that pulling in support and how much of a victory that we had today. I feel like people aren't really seeing or comprehending the victory that we had today or yesterday. They aren't really comprehending that, but it is a milestone for us. It is. And I want y'all to remember that. So I hope y'all have a good weekend. I will maybe see y'all later today. And yeah, that is that. Okay.
Baltimore, I can't see you. Where you at?
Y'all telling me with this. I can't help. I'm help. Robert. I can't help. Dos delincuentes. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids, and I can't do it. I just don't want to believe the truth. You don't want to believe it.
At this point, we briefly pause the interview to give Kelly a moment.
Yo, let me put this. Yo, let me put this. Yo, let me put this. Yo, let me. Y'all trying to kill me. Yo, let me put this. Yo, let me put this. Yo, let me put this. Yo, let me put. Let me win. Trying to kill me. Let me win. Trying to kill me. You don't want to believe it. Trying to kill me. I hope this camera keep going. Stupid R. Kelly. Fight for my life. Stupid R. Kelly. Do it. Stupid R. Kelly. Fight for my life. Stupid R. Kelly. Do it.
That song just took me back. Y'all remember? I haven't played this song in so long. It's just taking me back to when I covered the R. Kelly trial. And for those of y'all who don't know, I was mentioned by the New York Times for my coverage of the R. Kelly trial. I did really impeccable. There were times when I had like 5,000 people in the chat at one time. So it was great. So being mentioned by the New York Times was definitely a thing. I had to go on. I know it's a lot of new people here. Some of y'all, if you don't know, now you know. Your girl be out here in the streets. So yeah, being mentioned by the New York Times was definitely, and being hyperlinked too, so everybody could see. So it was a really interesting and creative and innovative way that I was able to cover the trial with some laughs, some jokes, and the legal jargon in a way that the everyday person can understand, because legal jargon can be really difficult for the everyday person to understand. So it was really nice to break that down. Good times, stressful times, but good times. What a great month. So y'all don't know some of my background. I do a little bit of not everything, but Black news and celebrity entertainment. Whatever falls within those guises, those are the things that I talk about. So y'all have a good night. I'm gonna go ahead and go to sleep. And I will catch y'all later. Make sure you subscribe, thumbs up or down. Either way, I appreciate it. If you sent a Cash App or there were some donations. There were some Cash Apps that I did not read. I meant some super stickers. Shout out to Scorpio for real for the $4 super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Lady Webbs, I love when we're so pissed or emotionally invested in a story. Jane gives many of us a voice, unfiltered, unapologetic, and with class. Oh, thank you so much, Lady Webbs. I appreciate that. Saint Hudson became a member. Thank you. What do we have here? 149 from Mia Lynn, a super sticker. Thank you. I do appreciate that. And then we have, what is this? Edrift. Jane, speak out, Black Queen. They've been doing it. He not the only one. They talk normal, then attack out of nowhere. Oh my goodness. Really good point. I've spoke on that before. Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm so understanding. And then 7 minutes in, it's, no. Yeah, it gets sideways sometimes. Thank you. I do appreciate all of the monetary donations, but I do appreciate a thumbs up and a subscribe as well, right? They mean honestly exactly the same for me. Shout out to Lo, shout out to Lanice, shout out to Steph, shout out to Stefan and Simone. Thank you so much for sending Cash Apps. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. It means a lot. Okay, so I'll see y'all later. If I don't see y'all out here in public, I'll be on members only sometimes later today. I told y'all that I would be sharing my therapy story or my therapy journey. Y'all know I started therapy this week on Monday, and I'm so anxious to share how it has affected me and what I've learned about myself. So that's going to be on the middle tier. There are 3 tiers to the membership. The middle tier is where I'm sharing the therapy and everything else. So we will be backstage this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. So if I don't see y'all publicly, I'll see y'all backstage. And then we have other topics we need to get into as well. So I'll see y'all a bit later on. Yeah, they did. They did. I'll see y'all a bit later on. And yeah. Y'all have a good night. This has been a great video. Comment down below. Be sure to turn on the notification bell and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of this syrup in the form of Black news and celebrity entertainment. Okay?
But that's it. If you want to catch more of my commentary on Black culture or vital and trending information, be sure to subscribe by hitting that little circle in the middle of the screen, or I'll catch you in one of these rectangles to the right in another video. I'll see you there.